You're hoping the countdown works exactly the way you timed it.
And away we go, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, welcome in. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. Happy Friday, y'all. I hope all is well wherever you are, whatever you're doing. I hope that your Friday is shaped up to be a good one. I hope that your weekend is shaped up to be a great one. It is conference championship weekend. And, we got some games to break down later on. Clemson playing for another ACC title, taking on the Tar Heels of North Carolina.
Wait. How is Clemson playing for a title when they lost to South Carolina last week?
Because they didn't lose any ACC teams.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Of course, another argument for, well, I'll just leave that right there. Playing for an ACC title coming up tomorrow. A banner to be hung should they escape Drake May and the Heels. We're going to talk about that coming up later on in the radio broadcast. The U.S. men's national football team faces elimination in the opening stage of the knockout round. There are, or I should say, there will be, in about 3 hours from right now, 16 teams remaining in the World Cup as we have hit the knockout portion of the game. It is going to be an interesting one today. South Korea can advance with a win over Portugal, but they'll need some help from Brasilia as well. Ghana and Uruguay are about to kick off as well. And we'll break those games down for you, as well as what the U.S. men's national team will need to do tomorrow should they wish to move on and out of the, what is 16? It's not, quarterfinals is 8. What's the round before that? The Hecka finals?
I think that's accurate in soccer, yes.
Whatever it is, the Americans take on the Netherlands, the Dutch, tomorrow morning. We'll tell you what they need to do should they wish to move on later on in the day. So that's coming up very shortly. Very excited about that. It is going to be, I think, a spectacular weekend. College football, NFL football, World Cup knockout round. What a weekend, man. What a weekend. We're going to get into all of it.
And don't forget, Stephen Thompson fights tomorrow night.
And Wonder Boy fights.
Yes.
That's exactly right. And Wonder Boy fights. We may have to do a little mini fight club later. Talk about Wonder Boy's fight upcoming. Get into that too. Before we do any of that, want to remind you, if you've got 57 minutes to spare, that the Leo Santa Toy Drive is taking place right now at the Bon Secours Wellness Arena. Law enforcement agents and agencies are going to be out there until 10 a.m. collecting toys and gifts for underprivileged children around the upstate so that they can have a Christmas as well. If you have got an unopened toy that's just been laying around and you got some time, head on over there and drop it off to those law enforcement officers who gave up a ton of time yesterday, giving up their time this morning. I went out there a little bit early yesterday. For the Leo Santa Toy Drive before the Swamp Rabbits game last night, which, by the way, Lonzo, was 80s night and totally rad, dude.
Wait a minute. 80s night
80s
happened
night.
and I didn't know about it?
If it makes you feel better, tonight's 90s night.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, Y2K night.
Yeah, 80s night would have been my night.
I told them they should have flipped it around. They should have done Y2K, then 90s, then 80s. We should have gone like a Back to the Future episode, you know? Anyway, went out there yesterday, dropped off toy, hung out for just a little while, got to meet a couple of listeners Got to heckle Mark Ryan from a distance.
Did you heckle? Was he bundled up? Because he gets cold. He does.
Was inside.
Was he?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, he was
All
inside.
right.
Did have a super dope Marty McFly bubble vest on, though. Not because it was 80s night, just because that's what he wore.
Yeah, that's his. Now I'm picturing that.
Yeah.
I wish I could have seen that. I definitely would have commented. I hope you did.
I will tell you this. I was standing there. He was doing a show. He took a break. We talked for a minute. And then for those of you that don't know, I am the in-arena host for the Swamp Rabbits, right? So like during games, I'm on the mic. I'm getting people hyped up, whatever. So I'm standing there. He finishes the segment. I talk to him for a couple of minutes. And then I walk over into the arena. And I'm walking by and Kat kind of goes, "Hey, are you Rob?" And I turn around. I'm like, "Yeah, man. What's up? How's it going? Nice to meet you." And he goes, "I listen to your show every day. I just wanted to tell you thank you." I was like, "For what?" I mean, you're welcome, but for what? And he goes, "I wanted to tell you thank you for being nice about South Carolina on the radio." And I'm like, "You have to thank me for that, man. Like, you guys had frankly, a better season than we expected. I think the incredible part is that you ended as an 8-win team, and you and I both know 9 was more than realistic. 10 was more than realistic with the Mizzou and Florida games. You guys were this close to being 10-2, right? I got there's nothing to be nice about that. That's just what you guys are." And he said, "Yeah, but there's not another radio show where we feel like we can go to and just hear about our team from an unbiased perspective." Said it just feels like everybody else constantly craps on us, and we feel like we get a fair crack at your show, and it's the only one we have. So I wanted to thank you for that.
Yeah, tell your friends about it, because you're exactly right. Every other show is basically a Clemson show, not this one.
And for the record.
And how do those Clemson shows operate knowing that South Carolina beat them last weekend?
For the record, that is to say, Clemson's getting the same treatment. So is Georgia. So is Florida. So is LSU, right? I got no animosity towards any team except the Miami Hurricanes.
I do.
And the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's not even true. I don't even hate the Jags. I just hate the city they play in. When they become the London Jags, I will be a big fan. Big fan. But no, man, like everyone is welcome here. And so anyway, we appreciate that, Kat. I do apologize. I forgot the name. I asked. It slipped. I'm old. What do you want?
He has a horrible memory, so don't take it personal.
Yeah, seriously.
I have to reintroduce myself once a week.
The only reason I keep his name up on the screen is so that I can be like, "Oh, there it is. Okay, Lonzo. That's right. That's that guy's name."
It has nothing to do with I'm the host and that's the producer. Because, you know, in some places, you're just producer.
Yeah.
They don't even give your name.
Executive producer and co-host Alonzo. I just have to write it down on my little prep sheet here to make sure that I, Anyway, it was a cool moment. We appreciated it. It was good to see everybody.
Was it an earshot of someone else?
No, this was in the arena.
Because that would have made it better, because I'm sure he would have appreciated the fact that people are listening to the station.
I'll tell you this story very quickly. Of the most awkward I've ever felt was at a Greenville Triumph game last season, right? Not this past, but last season. Mark came up for a game, and we were in line at a food truck to grab some tacos, right? And a guy walks up and introduces himself. He was from Philly. And he walks up and he introduces himself to me. Now, this is after I had emceed the Greenville Triumphs championship celebration, right? They won the trophy. We were celebrating. They had me out on the field to introduce John Harkes, introduce the team, hype up the crowd a little bit, get everybody whipped up into a frenzy for the match. And the guy walks up and he's like, "Hey, man, I'm from Philly. I'm a big soccer fan. I love your show. Just wanted to tell you, man, I love your show. I appreciate it." Mark's standing next to me. And I go, "Hey, what do you think about the other show? What do you think about Mark's show?" And the guy right in front of Mark, not recognizes as him, just goes, that's all right, I guess. Mark just looks at me, and I'm like, "All right, well, nice to see you. Move along. Nothing to see here." Walks off. I'm like, "Dude, my bad. I just wanted him to say something funny." He's like, "No, it's fine, man.
Never apologize for that."
Yeah.
The listener was being genuine.
Here's the best part. About an hour and a half, 2 hours later, Mark does the same thing to me. with another cat, right? Where is after the game, we're walking out of the stadium, and a guy comes up to say hi to Mark, does the same thing, and the guy goes, "That guy bleeping sucks," about me. Like, what do you think about Rob Brown? It's like, that guy bleeping sucks. So I was like, all right, we're even, I guess. I guess we're even. We'll call that one even. All right, busy day on the radio show today. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of stuff we need to get into. NFL divisional races are hot yesterday. Josh Allen. Did he earn a Josh Allen back last night?
I tried to watch, but all I could hear was Josh Allen, and it was really getting on my nerves.
But he did get one back last night.
He did.
He's not back to Josh Allen. It's just 3 now. I'd say he got one back. The little sideline jump pass that he has put into the repertoire has got to be annoying as hell if you play defense.
Yeah, but look at who he was playing. I mean, the Patriots are not the Patriots anymore. They haven't been for a long time.
Well, yeah, Brady left.
Yeah.
And it was all Brady.
I don't, maybe.
Patriots have now dropped 2 in a row. The Vikings 33-26. They also dropped, obviously, last night a 24-10 decision to Josh Allen and his Bills. Allen was 22 of 33 for 223 and a pair of touches. Mac Jones, 22 of 36, 195, 1 touchdown, and a hilarious tirade on the sideline. Did you catch that?
I did see that. Yeah.
Amazing. Mac got a camera in his grill when he said, "Throw the damn ball. The run game sucks."
Yeah, there were other words in there.
There were.
Yes.
But I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good about censoring myself, especially when I'm like reading stuff, The only dump button I've taken from Zoe was when I mispronounced a regular word. I wasn't even trying. Wasn't a slip. I just wanted to say ship, and it slipped up on me. So
you're still going to get a look from me every time you attempt that.
I know.
Because while attempting and trying really hard, you might accidentally slip. And it's.
So anyway, Mac Jones dropped a couple of, shall we say, choice words into the cam yesterday when he said, "Throw the damn ball. The run game sucks." And of course, it got caught on camera. He went into the post-game presser and was like, "Well, the heat of the moment, the heat of the game, it gets to all of us. The emotion of the moment, the emotion of the game gets to all of us. And, we were running the ball. The short game was working. I just wanted to see us maybe try a little bit deep. But, it's just heat of the moment." It's like, nah, dude. Like, heat of the moment. I get it. I get it. But Mac Jones straight up and entirely just called out play calling in that moment, which is fine. The Patriots couldn't run the ball to save their rear ends last night.
Wait a minute. Who calls the plays for the Patriots?
Matt Patricia.
Are we sure that's really him doing it?
Allegedly. It's Matt. I made the point. Remember the hilarious thing. The hilarious thing was back in the preseason when there was the big discussion about who was going to call plays, right? And Matt Patricia was initially named the guy, but also there were co-offensive coordinators. That's working out great. Working out exceptionally well. The folks on the DA show this morning were saying that it's effectively been Matt Patricia calling plays. And obviously we follow all 32 teams, but I can't keep up with who's the actual coordinator in actual games and actual spots between everybody when teams have co-coordinators. But Mac Jones hit the post-game presser. Heat in the moment. I want to get away with that, so. I want to get away with that. I want to say a bunch of dumb stuff on the radio and call people out on the radio. And then when the boss goes, "Rob, what the hell?" I'm going to be like, sorry, coach, heat of the moment. You know how it is. You know when those competitive juices get flowing and it's the heat of the moment, how you can just call a guy a bleep hole to his face, but then expect to be let off the hook because it was the heat of the moment. Heat of the moment.
Extra points if you can say who sang that.
Asia.
Okay.
How many extra points do I get? Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-ba. Oh, wow, 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 wow. Nailed it.
Now
Does
that
it surprise
song,
you that I know that one?
no, not really. You're in a cover band, dude.
And we do play that. All right.
Do they know the keyboard part?
Hell yeah, we do.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but not with a guitar though.
We're working on buying one, but we think we're kind of hitting the end of the road a little bit. Like we kind of think we might be about to wrap this thing up. Like this might be the last year of shenanigans. So we're like, do we really want to drop 3-4 hundo into a keytar we're going to use 10 times and then it's just going to go into a bin? So I don't know. The hardest decision the band's got to make this year is not, is this it? Is this our last year? Is this our send-off tour? The hardest decision we got to make is, do we want to spend a show worth of income on a keytar?
I will tell you that I have, and you've seen this, a keytar game controller for Xbox, and it's also MIDI capable. So he could probably.
Can we borrow your keytar for a show?
Yeah. You can hook that up to his regular keyboards and play his regular keyboards through the keytar. It still will have that look, and it's the little one.
All right.
So it will be kind of funny, and yeah.
We'll see if we add a keytar to the repertoire. All right, ladies and gentlemen, coming up on the radio broadcast today, Christian Pulisic risked future children in order to score a goal against Iran that moved the Americans into the knockout round. Will he, won't he be on the pitch tomorrow when we open up knockout round play with the Dutch? We got a little indication of that, and it is not Christian Pulisic that is now the biggest question mark about whether he can or can't go. And because of that, we may see a name show up, I hope, in the starting 11 tomorrow that has not started yet, but that in hilarious fashion, American fans have been begging Greg Berhalter to play, but he has not. He may get that time, and frankly, I think he'll need to if we're going to move on past the Dutch. I will tell you who and what that is coming up later on in the radio broadcast. Spencer Rattler, should he stay or should he go now? I got thoughts. I got thoughts on that. I've seen a lot of conversation about whether Spence should come back for one more year or test the waters to the league. That's an easy answer for me. And I'll tell you what it is. Plus, I did hear a gripe yesterday about the 12-team college football playoff yesterday that I think is, with all due respect to the hot takers, kind of silly. And I'm going to tell you what that is when we come back. We'll run through yesterday's breaking news. The college football playoffs expanding to a dozen teams starting in 2024. And I have heard a couple of takes on it that I disagree with heavily. I'll tell you what they are when we come back. My name is Rob Brown. The great Lonzo's on that side of the board, and you are listening to The Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. You're not wrong, Skrilla. You're not wrong. That probably would be a great name for it.
I've never seen digress spelled. It just doesn't look right. Is that how you? I mean, I'm sure it's correct, but it just doesn't.
Trey said your band should do a show in the upstate. We actually have talked about that quite a bit, Trey, and it's just a matter of finding a place, slash finding a place that's going to pay enough to justify the boys driving up here. Like when it's just me driving back down to Destin, it's fine. They throw me, like, basically it works to where we split the regular pay, and then whatever goes in the tip jar is split between me and my drummer. He drives up from Orlando. Whatever's in the tip jar, we split between the two of us for gas and travel. If we can find a bar up here that's willing to pay us enough to justify my boys driving up here, we would love. We actually talked about doing like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday set of gigs in the upstate. I know that our buddy Thomas over at Warehouse at Midtown has told me that he'd be willing to get us up here. I got to talk to him about it. We might do like a Friday, Saturday thing at Warehouse. Maybe one night at Midhouse and one night at Warehouse at Vaughn's. I don't know yet is the answer, Trey, but we absolutely want to play a gig up here. Go ahead, Keegan, get us started. Do a GoFundMe for Rob and his poor fellow musicians. Not exaggerating on the poor part.
I might even come and watch that. But I can't stay too late because I'm old.
If you come, you're getting on stage, bro.
Depends on what song we're doing. I only get up there if I rap.
Heat of the moment by Asia. One look from you and I would fall from grace.
$1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to getrefunds.com/sports. Click on qualify me and answer a few questions. This payroll tax
I got to remind myself I'm going to see TSO next week for the first time ever.
What night are you going on Friday?
Yeah.
I would like to. I like TSO. I wonder if it's the same show from last year, though, or if they have a different show.
I think they changed it up some.
I hope so.
I think Stoneman's interviewed one of the guys. You could probably ask him. He'd be able to tell you. 'Cause he usually interviews them every year right before they come. Don't set up too big of a mini tour, Josh, because he's got 26 jobs now. So
the smartest way to hire. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com.
The disco hospital, no charm for you.
It's been years in the making, and now the most epic comic and game story is finally here. Borderlands Comics and Games. Reimagined, bigger and better than before. The state's premier hobby shop has been bringing the best in comics, manga, and gaming to the region for 3 decades. Come see us at our new enormous location at 410 South Pleasantburg. Live the Borderlands experience for yourself.
The Borderlands experience.
On Facebook and Instagram.
you getting that, or you want me to get that?
Borderlands Comics and Games. Read, build, play.
Sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell is sorry for going too far with its past breakfast. All you need in the morning is like a breakfast crunch wrap.
I have to because it's not giving me the little dots. When I go to my Twitch channel, I can probably do it from there. It's only on Twitch, so that's the good news.
What pick your team up, man? Still haven't figured out how to end the promo, but that's all right.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. This is the Fan Upstate. Big announcement yesterday as the College Football Committee announced that after reaching an agreement with the Rose Bowl, that it would officially expand to a 12-team playoff format starting in 2024-25. Initially, the plan was going to be for the expansion in 26, as that is when the bowl agreements would work out, and the next bowl agreements would be placed in play to make sure that that expansion could take place. Well, they reached an agreement with the Rose Bowl, the last standing bowl, to agree to the terms. They did so on Wednesday. Then yesterday morning, they decided to go ahead and make the push to expand in 2024-25. The new format is as such: the 6 highest ranked conference champions will go in. Then the next 6 highest ranked teams will go in. The top 4 ranked conference champions will be seeded 1, 2, 3, and 4 and will receive a first round bye. The next 4 highest ranked teams will be seeded 5, 6, 7, and 8. They will host teams 9, 10, 11, and 12 in the opening round of the college football playoffs. Those 4 games will be played on the campuses of the 4 higher seeded teams. Teams 5, 6, 7, and 8 will host the games on their campuses. If they are unavailable, if those cannot be played on campus, then they will be played at a venue of the host school's choice. So that means that if for whatever reason Sanford Stadium is not available in Athens, the Georgia Bulldogs in that case, if they were 5, 6, 7, or 8, would be allowed to host it in Atlanta or wherever they wanted to, close enough to still can get themselves as much of a home field advantage as possible.
So I'm curious about this. Let's do a very big hypothetical. Let's say South Carolina was in the playoff and they needed to pick a venue to play in because they couldn't play in Williams-Brice. They could technically play at Clemson.
I mean, I'm assuming that would require Clemson to allow them to do so.
Okay. I mean,
it's up to, in that situation, it is up to wherever South Carolina wanted to play. So they could pick Charlotte, they could whatever. I mean, I can't imagine a situation in which they wouldn't ever play it at Willie B.
But if they couldn't, they'd want to pick a bigger stadium somewhere in the state, probably.
That protocol was largely put in place for a team that maybe shares it, like Miami, right? Shares a stadium with the Dolphins. If that weekend fell on a home weekend for the Dolphins and Hard Rock Casino was unavailable because the Dolphins had a Saturday game or whatever that weekend that couldn't be moved, then Miami would have the right to pick the next venue they wanted to play in. So they could go up to Orlando and play in the Citrus Bowl or whatever they wanted to do. I suspect if you are team 5, 6, 7, or 8 and you get a chance to host a home game, that you're going to do whatever the hell you can to make sure your stadium on your campus is available. Anyway, teams 9, 10, 11, and 12, that would be the next 4 highest seeded teams. They would travel 2, so 12 would play 5, et cetera, et cetera. They would travel to those stadiums. To take on the teams ranked 5 through 8. And then the winners of those games would be matched up with teams 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those 4 games, the quarterfinals, those 4 games, as I understand it, those 4 games will be played in bowl games, right? Those will be bowl games. The semifinals would be played within what are now considered the Big 4, and then the Natty would be played, obviously, outside of that, as I understand it. That being said, the quarterfinal dates and locations have been decided. So of the semis and the Natty, though those times and locations have not yet been announced. And we will find those out down the line, I suspect. Now, let's talk about the 12-team playoff. Big fan. I like it. I honestly, frankly, wish it would have been 16. I don't particularly love teams getting buys because I still think you're going to have created the problem that you were trying to fix, right? And I think one of the things that you are trying to fix is let's not create a situation, right? Let's not create a situation where a team can be left out or be put at a disadvantage when you have subjectively 2 teams that it is very difficult to decide who was truly the better team without a set of criteria to follow. You are going to end up in some spots where conference champion number 4 is going to have an identical record and a very similar strength of schedule to conference champion number 5. And number 5 is going to go, wait a minute, why do they get the bye but not us? Right? Now, they're still going to be in the dance. And I think at the end of the day, it will be less of a fight when you get to go dance even if you've got to win one more game than the team that's ranked right above you. But hell, you're in the dance, right? At the end of the day, that's what this has all been about. Are we going to have some time where a team is not ranked inside of the top 6 non-conference champions and feels like they got left out? Yes. You are also going to stumble eventually upon a 2-loss conference champion that gets a better draw than a 1-loss non-conference champion who only lost in their conference championship game, right? Look at it this year. Under the rules as it stands right now, if Georgia was to lose to LSU, even if LSU does not get in as one of the top 6 conference champions, which I suspect that they would, even as a 3-loss team, Georgia as a non-conference champ who went wire to wire 12-0 in the regular season, and let's say loses to LSU by a point in Atlanta tomorrow, they would not get a home bye, a home round game or a bye to open. And they might still get a home round opener, but they would not get a first round bye. Georgia's been the best team in the regular season wire to wire, right? Hands down to me, the best team wire to wire, but now they would not get a first round bye. Lot of added emphasis onto the conference championship games because of this.
I am curious as far as ticket sales goes. I wonder if you are someone who has season tickets and your team makes a playoff, will you get a discount on a playoff ticket?
Good question. I don't know how the ticketing is going to work out.
I mean, since now there's going to be a home field shot if you're in the playoff, especially if you're one of those teams that's going to be in the playoff every year.
We'll find out. I genuinely, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to play out yet, right? Like I wish I did, but I don't know how it's going to play out yet. So we'll find out. That being said, I am perfectly fine with the format. I think we're going to work out the little idiosyncrasies as we go ahead. That happens every time there are major changes like this, but they will get worked out. It may be a rough ride for 24-25, maybe 25-26, but those little idiosyncrasies, those little kinks in the hose are going to get worked out after we get to play with it, experiment with it a little bit. Now, I heard a gripe yesterday about it that I was a little bit shocked, right? Somebody saying there's too many games. It's too many games. And what they hit me with was, number one, it's going to make the regular bowls more irrelevant.
Yeah.
No, well, they're already irrelevant, right? They're already irrelevant. We already know that. We already see it. That's obvious. It's already irrelevant. So I don't care about that. It's a bad argument. With all due respect, the Bahamas Bowl ain't ringing anybody's bell. You feel me?
Unless your kid plays there.
Unless your kid plays in it. Now, again, I am also one of the people that do not understand why folks call, let's cancel the bowls. Why? You want less football. Well, the best players don't play in it. Okay, whatever, dude. It's still football. It's
still a chance for extra practice for every team, for kids to get to play that may not have gotten to play all season to get ready for next year. And I think it's pretty cool, especially if you put yourself in the player's perspective. Don't you want to do that? Don't you want to go play in the Bahamas Bowl? Don't you want to go somewhere south, especially if you play at a Big Ten team? I mean, school, of course.
Here's what I know. I know that when we wake up on the morning of January 10th, Lonzo, there's no more college football for 200 some odd days, right?
Yeah, but we're good.
I'm not getting rid of football because I don't feel like a game means anything. By the way, did that game not mean anything to the Gamecocks last year when they knocked off the Tar Heels in the Duke's Mayo Bowl?
What an amazing game that was, too. That just shocked everybody. Yeah.
So, blah, blah, blah. The complaint that I heard that kind of blew my mind, though, was somebody saying, well, guys who are setting themselves up for the league, guys that are setting themselves up for the draft, they are not going to play in these games because there's too many of them, right? If there were just 2 games to win a title, then they'd play, but now there's 3. They're going to bail out. I'm like, what are you talking about, right? I feel like you're reaching to create. Zoe, you ever met anybody who reaches to create problems? Like they create issues that don't exist just to have something to gripe about. You know what it is? It's a I've worked with consultants before. Not all consultants are this way, but I've worked with consultants before. Like my old station owner loved a consultant, man. And
we dealt with that a little bit here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get the concept of consultants. Like I said, not all of them. But I got into a fight with my boss and almost a fist fight with a consultant one time because this guy comes in and starts talking to us about all the problems at the station. And like half of the problems were just made up. He's like, well, during this time, this is happening. I'm like, no, it's not, dude. Well, how do you know? Because I'm the one that's running the board. That's not happening. I don't know what you're talking about. He was just making up. I feel like people are making up problems. And I don't know if it is because they need a hot take, right? Oh, it's the playoffs are expanded to 12. What's my hot take? You don't need one. The hot take is we're about to see a new way that college football crowns a national champion, and it's not that bad.
I was waiting for you to say, well, the student athletes will no longer that was going to be what you heard yesterday. I'm glad it wasn't, because the student athlete thing is out the window. Also, you can't complain about them playing more games if they're looking to go to the NFL, because you know what they're going to do when they go to the NFL? They're going to play more games.
Well, and again, like the concept that you're going to hear, is about how guys that are set up to make, a $20 million rookie contract aren't going to risk it for a national championship, which is fine. Remind me who won the national championship last year? I think it was the Georgia Bulldogs, if I recall correctly.
I think you might be right.
Okay. And if I recall correctly, which again, sometimes I don't, but if I recall correctly, last year, the Georgia Bulldogs had a few guys that went to the National Football League draft. Jordan Davis, one of my favorites. Give me some big boy love, right? Jordan Davis, one of my favorites. This may shock some, maybe all of you. Jordan Davis played in the national championship game last year, right? When my dude knew that he had a fat NFL contract coming his direction if he made it into the league, he played in the Natty last year. I don't get it. There is nothing that says, oh, these guys aren't going to play if you add another playoff game. Why not? They already are. They're already there. We have had a lot of guys that have played in the Natty, even though they were first or second round NFL draft picks. Why do you all of the sudden, this is going to be dramatically different? I don't get it. I don't see it. I don't understand why it is that you feel that way, right? Like I said, I feel like this is a situation where people are just trying to make up a problem, and I don't understand the reason why. Oh, guys are gonna want to sit out. Well, first off, there's no evidence that anybody is doing that yet. There's no reason to believe that is the case. I just feel like, for whatever reason, some of y'all are looking for a reason to be upset. You're looking for a hot take, and I don't get it. The 12-team format is going to put to bed what if number 5 got in, right? And we might have it again this year. If the top 4 go in the way the top 4 go in right now. Hey, Lonzo, if Ohio State plays USC today, who's your pick?
Ohio State.
Yeah, mine too. If Ohio State plays TCU today, who's your pick?
Ohio State.
Mine too. And I like both those teams. But Ohio State beats both of those teams.
By the way, if Alabama played either one of those teams, even with a couple losses this year, I'd pick Alabama.
I'd pick Bama too.
Yeah.
That is exactly right. I would pick Alabama as well. Now, as Lonzo has made the argument in the past, it's supposed to be the best 4 teams. Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. It is supposed to be the best 4 teams. And maybe we get that, maybe we don't. But like I said, I just feel like we've got ourselves now. We've got ourselves now a format that opens up the playoffs. We've got ourselves a format that allows access to the group of 5, right? Which, by the way, you don't even have to be a group of 5 conference champion to get in anymore. You can just be a group of 5 team that gets in, but it gives access to the group of 5. It gives access to the smaller teams, the smaller schools. Like, what I feel like most of y'all that have these complaints just want to go back to the BCS for whatever reason. I don't know if you guys just really like the BCS. I don't know if you felt like the BCS was a better system. I don't know what it is.
There are some people that just aren't happy. You were just talking about people who make things up. There are also some people that just aren't happy. You know, the way it used to be is always better than the way it is now. And I guess that's the case sometimes, but for the most part, improvements are improvements. At least now there'll be 12 teams with a shot to win the whole thing rather than 2 that were picked by a computer.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I feel like some people are just searching for an issue for the sake of having an issue, right? Like they're just looking to have something to be mad about. You get more access. The smaller teams have a way in that doesn't require a small miracle. The conference championships are still very important, but not the end all be all, right? Like, yeah, it'll be a big boost if you win your conference. Got a much better crack again. You could be ranked 12, but if that's the next of the 6 highest conference champs, you're in, right? Because you're rewarded for winning your conference. Hell, I would think the SEC fans would be over the moon about this. You will always get your conference champion. Even could you imagine if LSU went 11-2, won the conference, and then didn't get in? Now your SEC champs getting in no matter what. Every year the SEC champs going, and probably a couple of other teams. You're just looking for a reason to dislike something that, as far as I'm concerned, there's just not much to dislike about it, if we're being honest. All right, give me your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. I want to hear what you've got to say. They announced it yesterday. We are going to a 12-team playoff starting in 2024. Do we like it? Do we hate it? What's our thoughts? I've given you mine. I want yours. 844-FAN phone, 844-FANFO, 844-326-3663. Text us on the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N, and we will read them on the air when we come back on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate.
Update on the Fan Upstate. NBA tonight, the Hornets at home against the Wizards. Charlotte denied a 3-game winning streak and a 140-105 loss on the road to the Celtics last time out. Charlotte 2-5 against Southeast Division opponents so far this season. 9th-ranked Clemson battles number 23 North Carolina in the ACC title game in Charlotte Saturday. Both teams finishing the regular season with a loss to their in-state rivals. The Tigers are trying to win their 7th conference title game in 8 seasons. The teams met in this game in 2015 with Clemson beating then 10th-ranked UNC 45-37. College basketball tonight, Wake Forest and Clemson tipping off ACC play at Littlejohn Coliseum. Also Pitt and Raleigh against NC State. On Saturday, 17th-ranked Duke at home against Boston College. Download the Odyssey app and search the Fan Upstate.
Okay, what the heck, Tim?
I'm Trey Westerberg with your Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate.
Progressive Snapshot can save you money.
Okay, that's not supposed to be in there. That's what I thought.
So the safer you drive, the more money you could save. Now, if you didn't hear that because you were yelling at another car while driving, let me say it again. You need to calm down. Yelling is just making everyone as stressed out as you are and letting them all know that you definitely are trying to save with Progressive Snapshot. And if you did hear it the first time because you weren't yelling at another car, nice work. You'd love Snapshot from Progressive because it rewards safe drivers. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California and North Carolina or from all agents.
Hey, it's Robert. Listen, you and I both know that joint pain can sometimes keep you from doing things you love. I love to go shoot hoops with the boys, but sometimes
least now I figured out what was wrong from earlier.
Well, if that's the problem for you, you need to call QC Kinetics and let them show you how their advanced regenerative medicine can help you restore and repair damaged joint tissue and give you your life back. Your hips, shoulders, elbows, they can all be treated with natural biologics from your own body. These are powerful healing agents that are highly concentrated. So if you're tired of steroid shots that don't work,
That's why everything was weird earlier.
Right now to schedule your free consultation.
I'm just talking out loud.
I know.
Which is usually how you do. You talk out loud. Now I figured it out. I can fix it.
All natural treatment that can give you lasting relief, and people around here, well, they're raving about it. So call now.
We'll have to have a talk with Timmy.
It's QC Kinetics, 864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772 with locations in Greenville and Asheville. 864-448-3772.
That one's okay.
How would you like to come home to a bartender who will fix you any cocktail you want?
Which
I'll have an old fashioned.
I'll have a margarita.
Now you
No.
can with the Bartesian home cocktail maker. Bartesian is a sleek machine the size of a coffee maker that makes premium cocktails at the touch of a button. Choose from over 50 different cocktails, from classics to the most.
Skrilla, where are you at that you are looking at a roof full of peacocks, which is a sentence I've never said before?
With the Bartesian cocktail maker. And now get Bartesian's best Black Friday deal ever at Bartesian.
Someone was in Gatlinburg. I don't know if it was him. I thought I saw earlier. Someone was somewhere in.
It's
not here. It was like real early in the show.
Gets the cocktail of their choice in seconds. The Bartesian makes a wonderful gift for anyone who loves a fine premium cocktail. Now get Bartesian's best Black Friday deal ever. It's available right now, only at bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail for Bartesian's best deal ever. Only at bartesian.com/cocktail.
The Upstate Holiday Light Show is going on now at Greenville Pickens Speedway. Drive through a nighttime Christmas
See?
wonderland as 32 million
Gatlinburg.
dollars set the sky on
Was that him who sent the picture?
Skrilla, Josh.
Yeah. I saw the picture. It was a cool picture, but it looks like they're behind glass. I thought I saw a reflection. What?
Look at the box. The whole thing is wiggly now.
Yeah. Well, whose fault is that?
Not mine. That wasn't my fault.
Would you like me to email engineering and ask them to come and
No, I'm
fix
going to
it?
tell Chris and ask him to come in to fix it.
You should text him right now.
Chris got a new baby. I ain't doing nothing.
Oh, come on, do it. He'd appreciate it.
Morgan's media planning firm just landed a multi-million-dollar client. She needs to staff up before traffic meets a traffic jam. So we're going to need research planning by Indeed can help her hire great people fast. Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
From the Ingles Market Studio,
I don't know, Brandon. Like, you're letting more teams in, but you're still protecting teams that are the top 4 teams in the country. Still going to be an argument over who those 4 are, but they're protected a little bit, which I like. My man Brandon jumping in here on the stream. By the way, I'm only telling Lonzo this because he'll appreciate it. Brandon's Xbox name, Lonzo, is Qui-Gon Ginger.
Dude, that is awesome.
Isn't that the best?
That is so wicked.
That's a very solid name. He said, "Wish it was just 8 teams. I hate the bye weeks," and I get it. And another texter at the exact same time on the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307 said, I love the expanded playoffs. It protects the top 4 with buys, and the other 8 are like playing games. The group of 5 finally gets to eat at the adult table instead of the kids' table.
All right. So the problem with the people complaining about the buys, how long do you think it is between the end of the season and the playoffs starting? It's more than a week.
It is, but I think the bye, unlike the first round of the NFL playoffs and the wild card round, where a bye can be very good because you just came off a long season, it gives you the extra week to fully get healthy. I think more importantly in this case is you get some film on your opponent that they don't get a view, right? Like you get to see what that team as a playoff team looks like.
Well,
do they break out anything special? Do they make some adjustments they didn't have in the regular season, et cetera? I think it's more important as an intel situation than it is as a health situation.
They've had film for the entire season. They're good enough to make it into the playoff. You got plenty of film out there. I don't know how much of an advantage that is.
I think it also look, wear and tear, right? Like wear and tear. It may be the first game that you've played in 6 weeks.
You're playing sooner, and so you have less time to recover. Like
Sure.
what you're talking, because yeah,
and let's be honest. Like if you're playing in the 12, you're playing one of the 12 best teams, quote unquote,
according
in
to
America,
committee, yeah,
right? You're playing one of the 12 best teams, air quote, in America in that spot. So not only have you played a game already, but likely you played a tough one. Now there's gonna be some dog walks in the playoffs, right? You're gonna end up with number 5 Ohio State taking on number 12 Tulane. And you're going to get some 50-point beatdowns with some backup time. But it's still a game that has been played. The counter argument to that, obviously, is that if you are a high-flying team like Ohio State with C.J. Stroud, right, that likes to throw the ball around a little bit, you can use that opening round to get your timing back, get your chemistry back, and a team that catches a first-round bye does not. But you're also going to be busted. You're also going to be a little tired. You're also going to be beat up after, because even if you catch an Ohio State Tulane matchup in Columbus in round 1, which would be a dog walk, in a game like that, Tulane knows that they get the opportunity to make history. You think they're not going to come out and hit you with everything they got, right? I don't know. I love it. I think it's a great setup. I think it is a great setup. Texas says, Rob, I can't name a player who's opted out on a championship game or championship run to protect NFL draft position. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think people are making up problems with the playoff just to give themselves a hot take, right? Can't do radio without hot take. So what's my hot take? Guys are going to sit out if they have to play 3 games to win a natty. No, they're not. Not a dude has sat out of 2 games to win a natty to protect an NFL career. Why adding one more? Why do you think adding one more is suddenly going to be the breaking point? It's not. It won't. I don't get it. Texas says, if you don't like the buys, then how do you feel about the wild card round in the NFL where the top conference champions get buys? I don't have a problem with the buys at all.
There's only one bye now.
Yeah, well, now there's only one, exactly. All right, so there's some thoughts. There's some playoff talk. If you want to get in on it, you're welcome to. We can keep it right here. 844-FAN-PHONE, 844-326-3663. Text us 71307. We got some games this weekend to break down. Let's get to them next on the Rob Brown Show. Hour number 2 is coming up on the Fan Upstate.
business for websites. Go to American.
All right. Hello, everybody. Oh, God.
That's 877 Web Now One.
Yeah, I hate that I'm not gonna be able to make it out for the game because I got Furman at 11:30, Skrilla. So I need you to hold it down for me, buddy.
I think that AEW is a fast-moving company and is growing to be number one company in the world because the talent are very hyper-competitive. And if they want to be number one, they realize what they have to do. Everybody else is saying that it's not a competition, but when you're trying to be number one, then there's competition. If they're not trying to be number one, then they're missing the boat. I feel like that when you have that mindset, every week you're trying to prove that. And we've been number one on gates for several weeks this year. And that's really, really hyper impressive for a company that's only been around for 2 years.
Same great show, new time. Rob Brown Show. Now 9 to noon, only on the Fan.
Listen to the Fan Upstate on Odyssey, no matter where you are, in the car, at home, at work. Download the free Odyssey app on your phone. Search the Fan Upstate, and you're in the game. The Fan Upstate. All right, man, let's get going there.
I just saying something on Twitter. It doesn't need audio.
Limit yourself to one team when there are 32 in the NFL. Sunday triple headers, Monday.
It's a thing from The Rock.
You get it all on one station. 97.7 Greenville, 97.1 Spartanburg, and on the free Odyssey app. The NFL plays on the Fan Upstate.
I can't stop watching it. I gotta.
That's pretty funny.
I gotta get off of there. What? Drew Brees apparently was struck by lightning while filming a PointsBet USA commercial in Venezuela.
Okay, that's a lot.
Is he okay?
Texter says, somewhat like the people making up problems to create NIL. I didn't make up the problem that there's billions of dollars floating around and the people providing the product weren't getting a cut of it, right? Look at scholarships. Okay. I mean, again, if your boss is making $1 billion and he's paying you minimum wage and you're doing most of the work, right, you're probably going to have a problem with that. Anyway, welcome back. The Rob Brown Show. Our numero dos is on your radio. I am Rob Brown, the great one. Lonzo Reitzel on the other side of the glass, metaphorically speaking. Today, my co-host, my partner in crime, and executive producer, the alpha and the omega of the upstate. I'm just giving you the whole upstate now. We have got a lot of things to get into. We are underway in Group H play at the World Cup. Ghana and Uruguay are on right now. Luis Suarez and company are trying to get themselves moved on. It's been a great World Cup, man. Been a phenomenal World Cup. Competition-wise, Qatar sucks, and everything about FIFA sucks. But the guys on the pitch have made it at least competitive and, exciting. So we'll talk about that as Captain America Christian Pulisic is slated to play in tomorrow's game against the Dutch, at least according to Greg Berhalter. Christian did say that, he got asked about the pelvic contusion that he suffered while scoring the game-winning goal against Iran back on Tuesday. And folks wanted an answer, Zoe, and Pulisic said he did not get hit in the boys.
Midsection.
The groin. He did not lose a groin.
Things are intact.
Yes. There may still yet be an opportunity for future Christian Pulisic Jr. for the U.S. men's national team. Anyway, he had a pelvic contusion. He said he's going to do everything in his power to be able to go on tomorrow morning against the Dutch. And Greg Berhalter has also since said that he believes he'll play. Josh Sargent is the question mark. Remember, Sargent on a breakaway down the left side of the pitch had to hurdle over an Iranian defender. And when he came down, his knee hyperextended in on him. It was pretty brutal to watch. Sargent did have to be removed from the game as well. And looks like he is a bigger question mark than Christian Pulisic for tomorrow's elimination round game against the Netherlands. So we'll see if Josh Sargent is available. Anybody. And I'm not going to do a ton of World Cup here. I'm not doing the whole segment on it, but I am going to ask one question, and I want y'all's thoughts on it before we get to some World Cup talk in the final hour of the show. Here is my sincere question. Can anybody explain to me why it is Gio Reyna is not playing? Can anybody explain to me why it is that Gio is not getting his time? I know that there's been some criticisms between Gio and Greg Berhalter. Some of them absolutely warranted, others not. But why is Gio Reyna not playing? The guy is likely the most capable on-the-ball producer that you have on this roster. The dude is probably the most unique and creative in terms of touch on the football that you have on this roster. Would open up the field, as far as I am concerned, massively for Pulisic for Weah up top. And he's gotten what? He got a couple of minutes worth of PT against England a few days ago. And that's really it. Did not see the pitch against Wales. Did not see it against Iran. Both games where we were thoroughly in control of possession and offense. And the most creative player you have with the soccer ball was not on the field. Can anyone explain that to me? Because I got nothing. We'll talk more World Cup coming up in the third hour of the radio broadcast today. But wanted to get into the ACC championship game, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk a little bit about it. North Carolina, come on and raise up. Welcoming the Clemson Tigers up into Charlotte coming up tomorrow. And I am intrigued. Clemson is the better football team, okay? I don't know that I would have agreed with that a number of weeks ago, but then North Carolina, for whatever reason, just had a massive fall off. North Carolina, with the loss to Georgia Tech, really did themselves in. I don't know how. I don't know why. But Drake May, as good as Drake May has been, just was not up to snuff. North Carolina, as an offense, has just been not up to snuff. And despite a loss to South Carolina, Clemson still finds themselves, though, on a neutral site as 7.5-point favorites in this one and minus 305 on the money line.
Well, they should be, shouldn't they? I mean, yeah, they've had a couple blips on the radar, and I keep joking about the fact that South Carolina beat Clemson because they did, but they lost by 1 point to a team that put up 63 points the game before. So what people want to poo-poo it and whatever words you want to use as far as that loss goes, but still they lost to a pretty good team, a team that's come on at the end of the season. Clemson is what they are. I mean, they are not what they are in the past, but they're still the best team in the ACC. They're not going to lose tomorrow.
I mean, did we all say that last Friday too, though?
I didn't. I wasn't here.
Did we all say that last Wednesday, though?
I wasn't here last Wednesday either. So I didn't pick it. I probably would have picked Clemson to win that game, though.
Yes, we all picked Clemson.
But again, now that was Clemson going up against an SEC team. This is Clemson going up against an ACC team. And Clemson doesn't lose to ACC teams. They don't.
So the last time North Carolina won an
Notre Dame
ACC
is not
football
in the
game.
ACC. So,
The last time that North Carolina won an ACC football championship, Jimmy Carter was president. Jimmy Carter, for those of you that are kids, he was the president like a long time ago.
Yeah, it's like 70s.
By the way, Zoe, just to bring you down, yesterday was 80s night at the Rabbits game, and we did a game of Finish the Lyric, right? Where we play a song up on the board, and we cut out a part of the audio, and you got to guess multiple choice which one's the lyric. And of course, for 80s night, it was Never Gonna Give You Up, right? So we play the Rick Astley.
So
and
you guys just rickrolled the entire
whole arena.
Yeah, okay.
Whole arena.
Okay.
I'm not saying it was my idea. I'm not saying it wasn't my
Oh,
idea.
it's a great job.
So the cheerleaders, the Swamp Rabbettes, they grab a couple of contestants, and they grab 2 younger girls to play this game. And the game plays, and it's like, never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, fill in the blank, right? We're like, all right, do you know the lyric? And one of the 2 girls is like, sure do, it's B. And I'm like, dude, that's awesome, man. How did you know that? That song's older than you. And she goes, oh, I've heard it on TikTok before. I wanted to just run far away.
Yeah, but see, it's a
But
different.
then my knee started hurting, so I didn't do that.
Yeah, it's a different song, though. I mean, the rickroll thing will go on forever, probably.
Oh,
Far after we're gone.
knew it from TikTok. The best part about that, Lonzo.
However music is spread, it's a good thing.
No, I'm good with it. Whole generations opening up to Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up. The young lady was born in 2010. 2010.
So this portion of the Rob Brown Show was meant
Brought
to
to you
make
by
me
Metamucil.
was meant to make me feel old. But what you're really saying is you feel old.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
Correct. Was born in 2010. I was done with college. I was working. I was in this career in 2010. Anyway.
Yeah, me too. And I've been in it for like 13 years. So, but anyway.
The last time that North Carolina won an ACC championship, Rick Astley wasn't in a recording studio yet. That's how long it's been. 41 years since the Heels won the ACC title game, and now they're back.
So do they have a chance at all? Do you think they have a chance at all to beat Clemson?
Yes.
There's a possibility that Clemson is still down from the loss last week, and they can't pick themselves back up, knowing that they have no shot at getting in the playoff or anything like that. But I don't believe that. I don't think that's going to happen.
Here's the question. We asked, what South Carolina team were we going to get? The one that scored 10 at home to Mizzou, the one that scored 0 on the road at Florida, or the one that put up 63 against Tennessee? We also asked, what Clemson team are we going to get? Are we going to get the one that pulled a demolition job on Miami and did everything right the way they were supposed to? Or are we going to get the team that played Syracuse at home, turned the ball over a bunch of times, made some dumb mental mistakes, and cost themselves a football game? And I said the combination of those two answers is likely somewhere in the middle, an average, and whichever team is more like one of their two extremes will win. South Carolina was more the team it was against Tennessee, against a much better defense in Clemson. And Clemson was in the middle, but more Syracuse Clemson than Miami Clemson, right? And South Carolina took advantage and won by a point. It's the same situation in this game. My question, Lonzo, is, do we get the North Carolina that is dialed in, that is focused, the team that was averaging more than 40 points, and up until the last 4 weeks of the season was ranked amongst the national leaders in every offensive statistic? Or do we get the North Carolina that in its last 3 weeks scored just 4 touchdowns and 12 visits to the red zone, was 9 for 34 in third down situations, and averaged just 22 points across those games, which includes extra time against NC State? If you get the first 8 or 9 weeks, North Carolina, Alonzo, North Carolina can absolutely win the football game. Offensively, North Carolina has every bit the potential to be better than South Carolina was offensively, with the exception of the Tennessee game, right? Unless they are just off, which they have been off for a hot minute, North Carolina has the capability to be better offensively than South Carolina. Statistically speaking and subjectively speaking, we've seen it. But for whatever reason, North Carolina just kind of blew it the last few weeks. They just got away from themselves, lost their identity a little bit, and Mac Brown's got a big challenge ahead of him to figure out how to get it back, right? And I frankly don't know what the answer to that is. I don't know what the answer is to how do you get that mojo back that you had early in the season. If they do, Clemson's in trouble. I don't care how well Clemson plays. If North Carolina shows up as the weeks 1 through 9 version of themselves, North Carolina wins the game. The good news for Clemson is that NC disappeared a number of weeks ago and has not been back since.
Yeah, I'm just not buying it. You're not convincing me. Clemson comes back and they win this thing strong, unless they take DJ out and put in Kate. In which case they might be in trouble.
Let's see. Let's go back and look at their numbers. North Carolina, the last 2 weeks of the season.
How are they against the run? I'm curious.
Very average, very pedestrian. But again, here's my other question. I go back to the Clemson game.
How's Clemson's defense against anything, I guess, right now?
Not as good as they should be.
Exactly.
Not as good as they should be. And that's part of why I'm saying if the good Drake May shows up, if the Drake May that went up against Notre Dame and put 32 on them, they did lose that game, but put up 32. If the Drake May that put 41 up against Tech, if the Drake May that put up 38 and won a clutch game against Duke, 42 against Pitt, 31 against Virginia, 36 against Wake, if that Drake May shows up, they got a chance. Here's the other part of it. You mentioned the rush game. DJ, who is starting this game, not only did Dabo clarify that, but by golly, was he heated when he did, right? He is standing with Big Cinco. He is entrenched with Big Cinco. DJ went 8 of 29 for 99, a touch and a pick against South Carolina. I don't care if that DJ shows up. I don't care if DJ goes 21 of 29 for 350 and 4 touches against South Carolina. Will Shipley had better touch the football a lot. A lot. He better touch the football. He had 15 carries against South Carolina. Lonzo, I went like 24. You can work in Phil Maffa. Maffa had 7 touches against the Gamecocks. I would love to double Maffa's touches and see Shipley add 10 more to his, right? Shipley goes 25 times. Let Phil Maffa go 15. I'm talking, and yes, I am talking about running the ball 40 times. Clemson went 29 passes, 37 rushes, and keep in mind that of those 37, a dozen were for DJ, of which maybe half were designed. So really the numbers are more like 35 passes and 30 runs. That's not the number I'm looking for if you want to beat Carolina. I do not want 50-50 play calling. I want 75% run, 25% pass. I'm not saying bottle up DJ. I'm not saying don't let him throw the ball, because there were a few games where DJ Uiagalelei looked good. And I don't want to miss out if he's having a good day, especially since this might very well be the last game DJ Uiagalelei quarterbacks for the Clemson Tigers. In fact, I suspect it is. But in case he's having
wait,
day,
you're not doing that thing that where you think he's leaving
Oh, no, I think he's leaving.
to another college?
Yeah, I think he transfers.
Why?
Because he's not your starter next year.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
He's not your starter next year.
I don't believe it. Why? Why would he not be your starter?
I want to
next
come
year?
back to that in the next segment. I'll come back to that in the next segment. I don't want to miss out if DJ Uiagalelei happens to be having a good day on Saturday. I don't want to not give him the chance to have a good day on Saturday. What I do want to say is, if we are going to have if we are going to have a day where Clemson wins this thing comfortably, like they have the capability of doing, I think it's got to be on Will Shipley's legs. I think defensively, you better never let May get comfortable. Don't let him get sad. Don't let his timing get down. Don't let him develop a rhythm. Don't let him develop a routine. I want you to let them get to not let them get comfortable. Disrupt, stunts, runs in and out, bring extra pressure, bring extra heat. Keep everything in front of you and make sure that he doesn't revert, because if Drake May reverts back to the guy he was the first 9 weeks of the season, Clemson will be in trouble. If you can disrupt him and keep him out of that routine and keep him on the sideline, then you got a chance. Texter says, fan, don't throw the goddamn football. You can, he says, go Tigers at the end of that. Yeah. Run the goddamn football, as Richard Sherman said.
You know, I hope you guys are right now. I hope that DJ does leave and you get what you've been wanting, and then you'll be wishing he was back. But I don't think he's going anywhere. And I think he's going to have a great game tomorrow. And then the fickle fans that one day, oh, yeah, I want him gone. The next day, did you see him? Did you see my Tigers? Did you see DJ? He threw that ball out nobody's business. Go Tigers.
Sincere question. How many games this year did DJ Uiagalelei have that you look back at now and go, that was special?
I would never look back at a Clemson game unless someone made me.
Okay, I'll answer for you. About 3.
So you're saying he did have some of those games then, which means he's capable and he's going up against another ACC team.
But capable and consistent are not the same thing. Listen, if you go into this game and you're running and DJ's
if he's as bad as everyone is saying he is,
no.
How's he going somewhere else?
Nope, it's not. Is he bad? It's is he consistently good for a team that has playoff
All right,
expectations?
if he is as inconsistent.
DJ is good enough for Arizona State. He's good enough for Arizona. He's good enough for Utah.
He's not going anywhere. You've been catching that, whatever that is that's happening later on in the day.
Let's take a break. Let's come back and talk about that. In fact, not even talk about it. I want you guys to answer me the question. DJ Uiagalelei, you get to decide his future. Where's he playing next year? Is he back under the orange helmet, or is it somewhere else? My thought, he's got to go. For him, not even for Clemson, for him. And I'll tell you why when we come back on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Done caught some kind of bug. Well, it starts with a C.
All right, y'all. Go ahead, Kevin. Let them know all about it over there in Knoxville, Gatlinburg, Tennessee. I love Gatlinburg, man. That's an underrated place. Yeah, we decided he got one Josh Allen back last night. He's now Josh Allen.
Casey ironically came to the Panthers from Seattle as part of Carolina's inaugural season and the first free agent signing. J.J. Jansen says Casey not only is a great player, but also one of his great friends and influences in his life.
Look, John Casey, as far as I'm concerned, should be in the Ring of Honor. He's one of the all-time greatest Panthers. He's the most impactful player I've ever played with. He's the most impactful man outside of my dad that I've ever been around. I can't say enough good things about him, and I'm really proud that I would be in this position on this field today playing with this team if it weren't for John, his mentorship in the 2 short years we played together, his lifelong mentorship over the last, this is 14 years now. He's probably the most special man in my life outside of my dad, like I said. So it's
Hey, pardon me. Thanks. I got one more. Hey, excuse me, stream. I apologize. Sincerely. That's my bad. Oh.
No one has started the NBA season more on fire than Luka Doncic of the Dallas Mavericks. So here's one way you can make his
Luka.
In all the Dallas Mavericks wins this year, Luka has scored over 31 points. That means if you like Dallas to win the game outright, you should consider parlaying it with the over on Luka's points total as well. Because if you did, you'd be 10-0 so far this year. I'm Trista Crick, helping you be the believer.
You're the one who protects the flock, and that requires.
Did you see what I sent you on Twitter?
Oh, you sent me something else?
Yeah, you need to look at it. It's a Drew Brees thing. They show him get struck by lightning.
Oh, really?
I don't know if it's real or not, but it looks real.
And all the ones who get it done with a wide range of safety products and solutions, plus board-certified safety consultants here to answer your questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones.
Let's face it.
I mean, if that's real.
I know.
I order takeout, here's my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
Special effects these days, it makes you doubt it a little
Yeah,
bit,
and I mean,
but
if you want to make a commercial go viral, that's the way to do it. But dadgum.
Apply online and get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR. But with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 7.99% APR with auto pay.
has like Cloverfield fields.
Yes, it does. Which, by the way, I love that movie. Like, I know I'm the only one.
And get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio.
Cloverfield is an old school monster movie.
My dude just wanted to get back with the girl. I mean, you know.
Well, I was like, you're not allowed to like that movie. Everybody dies. There's no hope.
Did someone dropped a stinking monster in the middle of it? A bunch of little monsters.
Little monsters were the best part of the whole movie.
I'm surprised you like that movie.
I love that
You
movie.
don't like jump scares.
Milo, do you guys like Cloverfield? You guys remember Cloverfield? You got to remember Cloverfield.
Hey, look, Mark Ryan's in the parking lot.
He missed me. We hung out yesterday.
ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your
He's just so sexy. I wish I was him.
So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for.
More interested to see if he actually changed something.
The ladies want to be him. No, the ladies want to be with him, and the men want to be him.
He's the only guy I know who can walk. And you think his collar's not up, but it's not. Because he's that cool. He looks like it should be up, and it's not, and he's still that cool.
This is Dan Scott. Furman is in round 2 of the SES playoffs tomorrow.
He didn't have it tucked in, though. I don't know if it's one of those untucked shirts or not.
I've seen that. Like I guess they make shirts that are specifically designed not to be.
Sponsored by Taco Bell. The rumors are true. Nacho fries are back at Taco Bell for a limited time.
I can't tell one thing. He's not an interior decorator.
Coming up on a
Speak of the devil.
Clemson fans have been down all week, but if you think about it, they could end this season as a Power 5 conference champion and as a champion of the Orange Bowl. How sweet would it be to end with wins over UNC and Tennessee? That is possible. Heisman voter Brett Beard will be joining us.
Rob Brown Show, what do you want to talk about? And what would you like to talk about? I wasn't here, so I thought. All right, yeah.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. Rob and Lonzo and you, 844-FAN phone, 844-3263-663 is the number to be a part of the radio broadcast. We'd love to have you on board with us. DJ Uiagalelei going to start the ACC championship game coming up tomorrow. I have a theory. A lot of folks asking why when DJ was struggling so much against the Gamecocks on Saturday, why it was that Cade Klubnik wasn't given a chance. And my answer is going to be primarily because, and again, the coaching staff, keep in mind before I say this, in the games that Cade Klubnik has played so far this year, he hasn't really been trusted to turn the ball loose, or at least it's not been play called to give him the chance for whatever reason, right? You go back to Notre Dame, you go back to Syracuse. He was effectively, as Lonzo has loved to point out, a handoff machine, right? I think he's thrown probably what, maybe a dozen total passes so far this year?
And some of them were to the other team.
You have not seen Cade Klubnik be given the opportunity really to turn it loose yet. I think part of the reason is twofold. Number one, young guy, you want to work him into a routine, right? Like you don't want to sling him out there and be like, hey, our Heisman caliber quarterback hasn't been, that. So now we want you to do it. You don't want to put that pressure on that guy in year number one, in his first handful of games on campus. But why wasn't he given a crack at it in the game against South Carolina? My theory is this. Dabo knew the ACC championship game was coming up this weekend. Dabo knew that if he goes to Cade in that spot and they turn Cade loose and Cade rips it down the field and has a good day, Dabo now has to bench DJ for the ACC title game. We have talked about a lot of faults, perceived, real, contrived, or otherwise, of one Dabo Swinney. And one of the ones that I have seen Dabo be labeled with, from Clemson fans primarily, is that he's loyal to a fault, right? That he is loyal to the detriment of the football team at times. That he will stick with a guy who is underperforming in the name of loyalty before he will make what should be an obvious switch to fans, right? And Dabo's not the only one that's done that before.
Yeah, because, fans know more than the coach does. Do you think maybe he has no confidence in Cade, and that's the reason why he didn't go to him? Do you think maybe running the ball wasn't going to win that game for him and he needed to throw the ball, and maybe the better chance to actually throw the ball would be to leave DJ in there? Possibly, maybe.
I think possibly. For the record, this is not me making a definitive statement. Do I think that Dabo is loyal to a fault? As somebody who puts a lot of emphasis on, as somebody who puts a hefty priority on loyalty, I get it. I have also been labeled loyal to a fault. I have let people walk over me and given them the credit, the benefit of the doubt that something was a mistake, something was an oversight, something was an oopsie, as opposed to just going, yeah, that person screwed me, right? I get it.
I feel like saying that that people saying that DJ is going somewhere else next year it's far-reaching. It's trying to appease a fan base. And I just would like to know where this is coming from. I want to know if there's inside information that makes you
Is
believe
DJ Uiagalelei good enough to get you to a playoff? That's a yes or no question.
he is not the problem.
Is he good enough to get you to a playoff?
Absolutely, if you have a good defense.
Disagree.
If you have a good defense, which Clemson does not.
I disagree. I don't think that I don't.
If you have better play calling, which Clemson does not.
I don't disagree with that either. I think coordinators are a problem. I think Dabo made a mistake going and hiring from within and picking Brandon Streeter as the offensive coordinator. I think it was a mistake, and I think in hindsight he recognizes that. And I think Dabo's going to have a very tough decision to make this offseason. I think the play calling has been bad. I'm not arguing with that. Even with bad play calling, DJ has missed a lot. DJ's missed a lot. And again, big DJ guy over here, right? I did not like DJ when he showed up. And in retrospect, going back, thinking about it a little bit more, he won me over, right? Because the problems that I think DJ has are primarily generated in his own head. And I don't put it on him. I've told you guys 100 times and 100 times again. I think the problem with DJ Uiagalelei is that DJ thought, Kelly, Trevor, Deshaun, I'm next in line. I'm the heir to QBU throne, right? And all I got to do is show up and be DJ Uiagalelei, and I'm going to be fine. I think that Big Cinco found himself in a situation where Papa, Big Dave, created a brand for a kid before there was any substance to it. I think that, sorry, I don't mean it with any disrespect, but I think that in recruiting, and this is something that coaches are going to struggle with for a very long time. In recruiting DJ, Dabo was like, you're the best. You're the guy, right? You're the guy. You're the man.
Yeah, but
it's your campus.
That's what every recruiter tells a prospective player coming
I would say
in.
respectfully, you don't know that, right? It's an assumption, and it's a fair assumption. But I don't think you can know that. I don't know what recruiting pitch. I know what Nick Saban's recruiting pitch.
How do you know that I wasn't recruited? I mean, you don't know that.
You weren't recruited by Dabo.
Yeah, because he's younger than me, so that would have been kind of weird.
I think that Dabo had his brand built around him. Excuse me, DJ had his brand built around him by Dabo, by Big Dave, before he ever stepped up to the plate. And when he did, he walked over there with a big head. I think year number one was a humbling experience for DJ Uiagalelei. I think year number two proved that he ain't Trevor, that he ain't Deshaun, that he ain't Kelly, that he ain't the heir to that throne, right? But I also think that a large chunk of that is what's inside the old noggin for one DJ Uiagalelei. I think that DJ is very receptive to praise, but I think he's also very receptive to criticism. And by the way, as somebody who knows all about that, right? Somebody who knows all about that.
Come on now, you're beloved by everyone.
It's true. Everybody loves Rob Brown. Everybody loves RB. As somebody who is hypersensitive to criticism, as Lonzo can tell you, somebody with sway gives me criticism, it eats at me for like a hot minute, right? Lonzo will tell you, I have had days where I've sat in the office looking for a cardboard box to pack my stuff up because I was like, all right, well, they're going to fire me because of one little bit of criticism. I get it. It's hard to learn to deal with that and to get over that. I'm almost 38 years old, and I am just kind of learning that criticism does not mean you suck and you're fired. Sometimes it just means, hey, we need this to be better. And that's okay, right? For a 19, 20, 21-year-old kid, that's tough. That's not a lesson you learn that early. But the problem and the reason that I think DJ goes is not because of DJ's inability to process criticism. It is because Clemson fans expect a playoff berth and nothing else. And in expecting a playoff berth, Lonzo, because fans are fans, they're going to put it on the most visible, which is DJ. They're going to put it on DJ. It's DJ's fault. We have heard all season. We heard all offseason and this season that the Clemson struggle on offense is because of DJ. I'm not saying that it is. I think there's plenty to go around. I think there are some talented wide receivers, but they did not develop the way we expected them to. I think the offensive line is a step down from where it's been in years past. I think the play calling has been pedestrian at best, right? I think there are 5 or 6 reasons that the Clemson offense hasn't been that good, but the fans point at DJ Uiagalelei.
See, that's the problem. Don't give them the power they think they have. Fans do not have the power to hire or fire a player. They do not. They don't. They think they do. And I get it. I get it. You believe that you know more than the coaches and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about fans of any team, not just Clemson. And yes, they're loud, they're proud, all that kind of stuff. Good for them. That's what you should be as a fan base. But you are acting like that fan base can control who the starter is on a football team, and they cannot.
Lonzo, do you have experience with people outside of your circle saying negative things about you to a degree that it gets in your head?
There was a time when that bothered me. Now I love it.
Right. Now you love it. Did you love it when you were 18, 19, 20? No.
I had a very small circle, so it was,
You, like me, and like a lot of people, I think most people, although I am not a psychiatrist, nor did I stay in a Holiday Inn Express last night, especially at that age, we can talk all we want about how, that person has no control, right? That person has no control. That person has no authority over you, right? Why would you take criticism from somebody whose opinion of you really doesn't matter? And that's very, very easy to say, especially as we get later in life.
If I recall, and I could be wrong, but if I recall, there's usually a ban at Clemson on social media. So he wouldn't be getting all this from social media. The only place he'd be getting is if he watched TV or if he listened to the radio or if he listened to the crowd sometimes. And the crowds are also fickle. They'll cheer you 1 second, they'll boo you the next. You can't let that influence you. And you can blame it on age, but he has people around him who will help him with that. I don't believe he's going anywhere. And I definitely don't believe that the fans have the power to cause him to go somewhere else.
All right, couple of things. Number one, what you are giving is stellar advice to the youth. Stellar advice to the youth. A, easier said than done. And B, don't really matter, right? Like I constantly give advice to young people who want to. Lonzo, there have been 4, maybe 5 guys since I started working here. 4, maybe 5 guys that have come here to be a part of this. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes. And I'm going to be a producer and I'm willing to do this and I'm willing to do that. And 4, maybe 5 guys have sat with me in the fortress of nerditude and be like, Rob, can I get some advice? And I'm like, yeah, here's your advice. Right? The hours are going to suck. You're going to be asked to work days you don't want to work. You're going to be told you're not working days that you do. You're not going to crack a mic for a while, right? The job's tough. You're going to get yelled at. Not that anybody around here yells or screams, but you get the point. You're going to get criticized. You're going to get told stuff's your fault. That's not your fault. It all comes with the territory. If you wade through the crap for the first X amount of time, then you'll have a crack to do what I'm doing and be where I am, right? And how many of those guys, despite my constant advice about how to succeed in this business, have since washed out?
That's because I ran them off.
Right.
Yeah, because
Because in that case, in this analogy, you're the fan base. And I'm like, dude, you cannot listen to that. You're going to get criticized. You're going to be told stuff's your fault that's not. You can't listen to it. You got to put it in the back of your noggin, remember it, and move on. And if you do that, you'll be successful. And they've all washed. It's very easy to give advice. Damn good advice. It's not always hard to take it. Right? I think DJ Uiagalelei has a fan base telling him constantly he's not the guy. It is his fault. It's on him. Eats in him. And I think that's because as a youth getting recruited, he got told, you're going to be the king. You're going to wear the crown. You're going to sit on the throne. You are the future of QBU. And then when things went wrong and the folks in the street started saying he's a bad king, DJ is going Mad King instead of Robert Baratheon. That's a deep nerd reference, son.
All right, so it's been a while since ACC Media Days, and you sat across from DJ. It seems to me that you've asked him questions about the crowd, and maybe I could be wrong, and it seemed like he handled it pretty well. I think he's being painted as mentally weak, and without knowing the guy, I can't say that. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's going to be right here. I know a lot of Clemson fans want him gone, but not all of them. Some of them want him to stay.
Tell you what, Clemson fans, right now, call us, text us. I'm not asking if you want him to go. I want to hear from Clemson fans who want DJ to stay. Get at me. If you think it is good for Clemson and good for DJ Uiagalelei to stay on campus one more year, I want you to hit me up right now. Text 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N. I am not looking for you Gamecock fan who's banging out your hilarious, haha, I'm a Gamecock and I want him to stay one more time because I know it's coming. I am looking for a Clemson fan who thinks it would be good for Clemson and good for DJ Uiagalelei to stick around for one more year in the orange and purple. Hit me up right now. Let Lonzo know if he's accurate or not. And there are some of you. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
I will say the first I heard about this possible transference is I saw someone tweet it, and then suddenly it took off. And just because someone tweets it doesn't make it so.
College basketball tonight, Wake Forest and Clemson tipping off ACC play at Little John Coliseum. Also Pitt and Raleigh against NC State on Saturday. 17th ranked Duke at home against Boston College. NBA tonight, the Hornets at home against the Wizards. Charlotte denied a 3-game winning streak and a 140-105 loss on the road to the Celtics last time out. Charlotte 2-5 against Southeast Division opponents so far this season. Ninth-ranked Clemson battles number 23 North Carolina in the ACC title game in Charlotte Saturday. Both teams finishing the regular season with a loss.
Why are they still making Transformer movies?
They're making another one?
You haven't seen it's Beast Wars. The trailer looks pretty cool, but still, why? I mean, the last one I saw was the first one with Mark Wahlberg, and I was like, yeah, this thing's done.
I enjoyed the first couple.
Yeah. Then you get rid of Witwicky. I know he's crazy. I understand the actor's a little bit out there, but his nervousness is what made those first couple movies.
Amy Dash is reporting that the new PointsBet promo is allegedly for its new Lightning Bets feature.
Ah, okay.
So this might be an effort at a viral video, which I got to tell you is kind of gross, to be honest with you. To fake a lightning strike, it's kind of gross.
But at the same time, how the camera falls and all that they did a really good job on it.
Oh, I mean it.
Also, so you guys are down to go see this movie. I mean the Transformers, the effects and everything look really good, but
here's why I think Transformer gets away with it. I think Transformers gets away with it because of that 90s nostalgia. I think it gets away with it because of that 90s nostalgia. And the Transformers movie is not taking itself seriously, right? Like it's not promoting itself as an incredible piece of cinema. It just is what it is. Hey, giant building-sized robots are shooting missiles and hurting each other. Do you want to watch this? And the answer is, yeah, kind of. I kind of do.
The gorilla is pretty wicked. If you want to watch the trailer,
I want to watch that after I can get sound on.
Well, several things dropped yesterday, including the next Indiana Jones trailer dropped. That dropped, and a couple other things. And the Indiana Jones trailer doesn't look too bad. I just, I thought it would be horrible, and they realize they're old, which is a good thing. And I didn't see anything about aliens.
Let me guess. Unknown caller. You could reduce the number of unwanted calls and emails with online privacy protection.
Kevin says the first generation Transformers movie as a tune was good. I've watched that movie multiple times as an adult. It is good.
What, the cartoon?
Yeah.
Chris and I and Cameron went to see it in the theaters when it came back like a couple years ago.
That movie was a genuinely good movie.
It didn't mean as much to me as it did to him. And you
Right.
got, he's older than you, but it meant more to him because I'm older and I was, probably 20 when it came out. So it had no money, so I couldn't go see it in the theater. I was working in grocery, which oddly enough makes less money than radio. Who knew?
Who knew?
Or it used to. Now it's probably comparable or more.
All right, looking for Clemson fans who think it's a good idea for DJ to stick around another year. Whether it is for the good of the university, the good of DJ, do you want him back for another year? I'm trying my best to not do what Lonzo accuses of me of doing and shaping the question a particular way.
Well, the thing is, if we were a Clemson show, it would be easier to get response, but we're not.
Right.
Some other shows, like that, they're getting response.
So my question here is, Clemson fans, are there any of you that want DJ back for another year? And my thought here is we are not going to get a yes. I think the closest you're going to get to an answer to the affirmative is this one from a texter that says, I can't answer your question. I will answer simply with, I want to win, end quote. That's the best you're going to get. And I think it's the most positive you're going to get. I don't think we're going to get a Clemson fan who goes, I want DJ back.
So Clemson hasn't won this year? They're like 0-10?
No, but this is exactly my point, right? You're making exactly my point. I agree. Like that's what we're getting from the texter, but it's exactly my point, which is the baseline minimum expectation for the Clemson Tigers is a playoff spot. That's the minimum expectation. That's a baseline of acceptability for this program right now, which is fine. They've been there a very long time. But a playoff spot is a baseline expectation.
Yeah, but is it realistic? I don't know that it's
not
realistic.
realistic.
Yeah.
But what is realistic is inconsequential. What is realistic is inconsequential. The only thing that matters is what is our baseline and are we reaching it? And if they're not, they're going to. Now, it hasn't always been that way. When I was broadcasting
trust me, it hasn't always been that
Yeah.
way. You're right.
When I was broadcasting down in Florida for many, many years, the baseline expectation for the Seminoles of Florida State was the same. It was a BCS appearance. It was an ACC championship game. And if they didn't meet it, people started calling for the head of whoever was in charge, to the degree that they started calling for the job of Bobby bleeping Bowden when it got to the point that he just was not capable of winning the conference anymore. When the conference got younger, when football got faster, and Bobby wasn't capable of doing it anymore, there were FSU fans who started calling for the head of Bobby Bowden because ACC titles were the bare minimum expectation for them, right? Clemson right now, and by the way, the better the conference got, the more difficult it was to expect an ACC title every year. The better to end when Miami joined out of the Big East and when Clemson found Dabo and started moving in the right direction. An ACC title every year became unrealistic. They called for and ultimately forced Bobby Bowden out. They got Willie Taggart. They fired him after a year and a half in the middle of the season because they weren't getting what they wanted, right? And look at where Florida State is now. I don't want to see that happen to Clemson. And that is why, and I'm not alone in this. You know who also said that these expectations are ridiculous? Dabo freaking Sweeney did earlier this week. Told you about that yesterday. Dabo said, if you expect a playoff spot as a minimum expectation, you're going to have a lot of turnover in this program because it's a ridiculous expectation. I'm not arguing it's ridiculous. I agree with Dabo Swinney. What I'm saying is the expectation is the expectation, and one of two things is to happen. They either have to make that the expectation within the program, or they're going to tick off the fan base a bit. But I can say all of this with certainty. With all due respect to the guy, because he's a nice guy. I like him. He was very kind and gracious to me, looked me in my eyes and shook my hand the 2 times I interviewed him, even after I criticized him to his face on air. I like DJ, but he is not a playoff caliber quarterback. And if the expectation for the fan base is playoff, DJ ain't the guy, whether it's Streeter or Scott or Dabo himself calling the plays.
All right, really quick. Dabo's statement is now dated because now if you win the ACC championship, you're going to be in the playoff.
Oh, starting in 2024.
Yes. So yeah, in just a year or so, you win the ACC championship. So now your goal should be to win the ACC championship, because if you do, and you have you're going dancing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I agree. That'd be a big help. That'd be a big help. All right, real quick, couple of texts before we move on. Bo texted in. Bo said, do I want DJ back? Hell no. Vizina or Klubnik will give them a way higher ceiling. We know how far DJ can take us. End quote.
Should I get the ball back and start handing things off again? Because that's all you're going to get.
Texter says, man, we are a spoiled fan base. And finally, Texter said, Dabo wouldn't recruit Lonzo. Lonzo has too much hate in his heart. Blackheart over there. I am Rob Brown. We got an hour left. We'll finish up this discussion on the other side of the break. We'll get a little World Cup talk in and more on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
That's
Poor people do. That ain't me. I'm supposed to be sitting down 2 days a week to eat my Maine lobster and caviar.
Yeah, not hot dogs and boiled peanuts.
No, not like you plebeians out there.
Grits.
All right, now you're just crossing lines.
Ugh.
Now you're just crossing lines intentionally. Grits are amazing. I had some
I
fantastic.
have a goal to offend as many people as I possibly can today. I got an hour left to do it.
I had some fantastic shrimp and grits down in Pensacola.
What it tastes like?
Shrimp and grits. Was the
So it tastes like
black
shrimp.
and shrimp. You just roll it in
So,
seasoning.
so it tastes like shrimp
No,
in
it
the
tastes like
seasoning
black and shrimp.
because grits have no taste to them. So you got to put something else on it.
Gouda grits, man.
Oh, so it tastes
Gouda
like
grits.
cheese.
That's the beautiful. But the point of grits is to be.
You know what? You know what?
To
You,
have the grits flavor enhanced by what's in or on
you
them.
might as well be eating cardboard. You might as well. And then you can say, this cardboard, oh, it's good. It tastes like Gouda. It's Gouda cardboard.
Lonzo probably eats wheat flakes.
I've had wheat flakes before. Raisin Bran has wheat flakes in it.
I love Raisin Bran.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to like Raisin Bran. It just tastes like raisins.
No, it's got a little bit of sugar in it.
No.
It does. It absolutely does.
Oh, so the Raisin Flakes need sugar to enhance the flavor?
Exactly.
That's how
Exactly.
food works.
No, it's not.
That's how food works.
No, it's not. Do you need to put something on an apple? No. It tastes like an apple.
But if you put cinnamon on it, it tastes better.
But you know what? Underneath that cinnamon, you know what you can still taste? An apple. With grits, you can't do that.
I'm not doing this with you. I'm not doing this with not again. Not again. I will not be roped into this
He
discussion.
bails because he's losing.
No, I bail because I'm frustrated. Sometimes it's just easier to walk away.
Thanks for being a bigger man, Rob. Let's talk sports, I guess.
All right. So we spent a chunk of the last hour, and I'm still looking for your responses. Is there a Clemson fan out there that wants DJ to stay? There has been one so far. One so far.
You guys are in for a disappointing year then when he comes back.
Texter said, I want DJ to stay and the offensive coordinator to go away. Also, I need my former wide receiver coach, Dabo, to do a better job at wide receiver development. Look, I need to clarify this about the conversation, or at least my part in it.
Why didn't they just say they wanted DJ to stay? That's
one.
That's one for me.
Right.
Yeah. Because DJ's
There's
not
about 40 saying no.
by the way, DJ is not perfect and he may be part of your problem, but you got bigger problems than your quarterback. And if you're thinking this will take care of it, yeah, we'll get rid of him and K to come in, and yeah, he's done that a couple of times. He didn't solve anything. I don't get that part of a fan base who can't see that there are more problems than just one guy. And maybe you're saying, well, you know what? If we get rid of that one guy, that's a step in the right direction. Is it?
Is it?
I don't know.
Let me be once again perfectly clear in this part of the discussion, or at least where I take a part in it. DJ is a part of the problem. I would not even be willing to say that he is the largest part of the problem. But I do think that we have seen the ceiling of DJ Uiagalelei, right? I go back to Clemson versus Miami. I think Clemson versus Miami was pretty much the best you could see out of this Clemson team. A 40-10 win. The offense did what it needed to do. DJ went 23 of 35, 233, 2 touches and a pick, 17 rushes, 89 yards, and 1 on the ground as well. And once again, about half of those were pass plays where he just pulled it down and took it himself, which is fine. That's part of the advantageous situation of having a QB who is dangerous with the legs. If a pass play breaks down, he remains a running threat. Okay? That was, as far as I'm concerned, the most successful that the offense has looked with an emphasis on the pass. There were 47 rushing attempts in that game. Roughly 9 of them, I don't have the stats in front of me, my wrap-up sheet's in the office, but roughly 9 of them, maybe 10 of them, were passing efforts that DJ then pulled it and ran because there was nobody available. So we'll say that it really looked like 47 passes, 37 rushes. Again, not my preferred run-pass ratio, but it ain't my football team. Okay? I'd like that flipped. I'd like 47 rushes, 37 passes, or fewer. Okay? But that was about the best game that DJ had as a passer. 23 of 35, 233, 2 touches and a pick. Had a couple more that probably could have been picks that hit the turf. They weren't. That's fine. That, as far as I am concerned, was DJ Uiagalelei's ceiling. That was, I think, the best you're going to get out of him. And that was good enough for that day against Miami, right? Good enough for that day. Let's compare those numbers to the Syracuse game, which is probably about the floor of what you're going to get with DJ. And let's put his accurate numbers as an average somewhere in the middle. You're going to get a guy who's about a 50 to 55% completion rating. You're going to get a guy who is about 1.5 to 1 touchdown to interception ratio. And a guy that's going to run the ball for 45 yards a game as a design quarterback runner / pull the ball down and make something happen with it. That, to me, is not the mark of an elite caliber quarterback. Now, had Clemson had a better defense this year, you probably beat South Carolina. I still don't think you beat Notre Dame because Notre Dame, you couldn't score against Notre Dame either, right? So I still think you're probably looking at 11-1, but that's still potential to sneak into the playoff on conference championship weekend, which would be good enough. I do not see DJ Uiagalelei as a guy that carries you to a trophy. I'm not saying you got to have a Heisman winner to be a national championship contender. I'm saying that 3 of the 4 teams in the playoffs do have that, and the other one has a guy who's really, really good.
All right. First of all, we spent way too much time talking about college football when we're NFL guys.
Sorry about that.
So, yeah,
That's on me.
We're going against you haven't got back into the groove. You've been on vacation. You've been gone. You're forgetting who we are. But the other thing, the question I have for you and for all the listeners who may or may not be Clemson fans, all right, is that guy on the team right now? That quarterback that you think is going to get you where you used to be, is that guy on the team right now? Is there a quarterback on Clemson's team right now that is that can take you to a national championship?
Maybe, but you can't know if DJ's out there.
Who is it? Yeah, but that's the same with any team. You can't know if the next guy up is the guy until that guy moves on.
Right. And like you said earlier, there may be a reason that is not because he's overly loyal to his dudes that Dabo has not made the switch, that Cade Klubnik did not show up on the South Carolina game. But you'll have to explain to me why he did come in against Syracuse to give them a spark. He did come in a couple of other games to give them a spark. And then all of a sudden, in the Palmetto State rivalry, unless Dabo just doesn't consider it a big game, which I don't think is true, you have to explain to me why Cade came in other games but didn't come in this one. And I don't have evidence, so I can't say this is definitively why, but my guess is that because if he goes to Cade for a spark and Cade comes in and does an excellent job, then you create a situation where you've got to play Cade Klubnik in the ACC title game, and Dabo didn't want to do that.
Or maybe you knew, maybe Dabo knew he was playing the superior talent. He was playing against a team that there's no way any quarterback on that team could come in and beat. And he was defeated and decided, let's leave this guy out here. We've lost the Palmetto Bowl. We've lost South Carolina. We've lost the dynasty. We've lost everything that we're about. And it's just over now. So everyone needs to just leave.
Ladies and gentlemen, and the Oscar goes to, there is.
I've been acting all day, dude.
I will give you a theory. I will give you a competing theory to mine. Okay. And a fair one. And one that I think holds every bit the weight that mine does.
So apparently I can't give a competing theory.
No. I think you did.
You are so superior that you have to.
I think you did. I'm just going to water off the parts that you threw in at the end there. All right, I'm just going to rinse those off.
You mean
for
the part where I was being sarcastic?
Yeah,
and
those parts. I'm just going to rinse that off for you.
The parts where I was having fun.
Yes, I'm going to take those away from you. The killer of joy. There is potential.
You can't take my joy, Rob Brown.
There is potential that perhaps the reason Debo wouldn't go to Cade is because what he didn't want to do is send that young man out there, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, full of optimism, hope, and joy, and have him get smoked by the Gamecocks and take all that away from him, right? Like maybe it was a mental thing. I don't want to send Cade out there, have him have a bad game, and kill off any confidence he has before he becomes our starting quarterback next year. Now, I would like to think that the argument against that is going into that game and all the way through that game against South Carolina, Clemson was very much still playing for a playoff spot. And if I had the opportunity to bring in a guy who keeps my playoff hopes alive, I would gamble his future confidence in order to play for a natty this year. Even if I know that I'm a dog against Michigan, I'm a dog against Georgia, I'm probably level with TCU on a good day, I would be willing to gamble the confidence of Cade Klubnik in order to beat my in-state rival and keep my dance ticket to the playoffs at least available in case somebody else drops theirs. So that's where that argument to me falls apart a little bit. That's where it kind of falls off a little bit. So with that being said, and this is it for the DJ stuff. I'm done with it after this. All right. I did not mean I just looked up at the clock and it's almost quarter after already. The ACC championship game is tomorrow. Clemson, as far as I'm concerned, does not have a path for the playoffs. You would need like 7 teams, 8 teams to lose, and some of them aren't even playing. Okay? There's not a path to the playoffs for the Clemson Tigers.
You might get an okay bowl, but you definitely need to win this game.
Right. You might be an Orange Bowl winner, which, by the way, would be an accomplishment. The Orange Bowl is one of the bowls that's taken seriously. But to hang an ACC championship banner is not nothing. Like, I know Clemson fans, it feels like, as a fan base by and large, are nothing below a playoff berth matters. But to hang an ACC banner is special. There's only one team out of 14 that get to do it any given year. There's something special about it. Is DJ the guy that wins the game for you tomorrow? No. But he is the guy that can lose it for you. That's why I want 15 to 17 called pass plays. I'm not talking we called 25 and he ran it 8, so that's 17. I mean 17 called pass plays and about 43 rushes divvied up between Shipley and Maffa and go from there.
You know, between this show and doing the Views from Mint Street, which is a podcast about the Carolina Panthers, which we'll be doing later on today and dropping today, so you should check that out. Between these two shows, I have learned that Rob Brown is actually an old school Big Ten person at heart. Run the ball.
Run the goddamn football.
Yeah, that's it. You know, the cloud of dust thing. That's who you are. I would have thought you would have been a spread offense kind of guy, but 2 shows, all you want is run the ball.
RTGDF. Run the goddamn football. Richard Sherman, a philosopher at heart, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Let's take a break. What's your thoughts? Clemson fans, where do you sit today? If I gave you the opportunity to call your shot, what's your offense look like tomorrow? I want a run-pass ratio. I want a starting quarterback. You rolling with DJ one last time? Are you making the switch to give Cade an opportunity to prove himself? And what's your run-pass ratio? That's what I want from you. When we come back, let's take a look at tomorrow's matchup. Team USA taking on the Netherlands. Winner moves on. Loser goes home. Who you like, who you got? Let's break them thoughts down on that when we come back. Rob Lonzo and you. This is the Fan Upstate.
See, Roger, you're still making my point, though. Grits don't taste like anything, so you got to do all that stuff to cover up their lack of taste. I just, I don't get it.
I am going to tell you, Roger, though I am
The voice
not,
of authority.
I am on shrimp and grits. Yes, I am. I am not.
Is that where they were born, in Louisiana?
Honestly, I don't know the answer to that. From what I understand, they've kind of become a very Carolina staple. Like they're kind of known in the Carolinas, and I get that. What I will say is that while Old Bay is fine, and I do like some Old Bay, I am not anti-Old Bay, Roger. I will tell you that Slap Your Mama seasoning is superior.
By the
Not
way,
as well known, but Slap Your Mama is superior.
according to the internet, so it must be true, the origin of this popular dish is thought to be Charleston, South Carolina, and the Low Country more than 70 years ago.
Yeah.
When fresh local small peeled shrimp were fried in bacon grease with onion and green pepper and served alongside grits at breakfast.
Yes, sir.
Hey, give me the shrimp made that way. I'm good with that. I just don't need any of the grits.
I do love me some scrimps.
You know, if you eat all them grits with that shrimp, you know what you have less room for? The real flavor and the real star of the dish, the shrimp. So just order the shrimp.
Yeah, but if I order shrimp and they give me 8 shrimp, that's not a meal.
You know what? Order more shrimp.
I can't order 2 plates of shrimp. I work in radio. I get 1 plate of shrimp. I need something to fill up around it
There's
on.
got to be a place out there that still has all you can eat shrimp. Maybe Red Lobster. They still have some.
I'm gonna call it out. I'm not a Red Lobster fan, right? I grew up eating seafood that literally was swimming an hour before I ate it.
He's a snob. He's a snob.
No, I'm from the coast.
Yeah, okay,
right?
but that's still. I mean, that's okay.
Call it whatever you want.
You're a connoisseur of
If
seafood.
your fish was frozen, I don't want it. I used to eat fish that literally was kicking 30 minutes before I ate it. Okay,
You do know how you sound when you're saying
that's
all that.
fine.
So, okay,
you can call me
all
whatever
right.
you want to call me.
Yeah,
It is what it
mean,
is.
you know.
I do not do Red Lobster, except when they do all you can eat shrimp fest, and then I will be there every day.
What if the Red Lobster is on the coast?
No, because they still ship their stuff in. If I'm on the coast, I'm going to some rundown, beat up, hole in the wall seafood joint run by Frank and Agatha.
I remember
who've been there for 60 years.
I got destroyed on these airwaves because I went to Myrtle Beach and went to Joe's Crab Shack. How would you do that when it's not?
That's terrible.
Again,
That's terrible.
from Columbus, Ohio, no oceans there. Anything seafood wise would have to be shipped in. I'm sorry, I didn't do it the way I was supposed to do it. You know what? The food was still good. Yeah, but you don't know what good food is. Okay, I don't.
I mean, I'm just saying, why would you
When Rob Brown is willing to take me out to some fancy, expensive restaurant to give me real seafood, I'm there. We're going.
I'm going to take you out. I'm going to go to Hooked, the seafood market around the corner from my house. I will buy us up some
By the way,
fresh ship.
he's been talking about cooking stuff for me for years, and he ain't brought anything in yet. And I
brought you king cake.
Yeah, you did, but you didn't make that. And you've been talking about, I'm gonna make gumbo. I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna make jambalaya. You ain't never made anything for me. That's fine though.
You sound like Courtney.
Oh, you've made stuff for her.
I have.
Which is fine. You know, I'm not saying you have to because we are partners on the show and all this, but you have said, hey, I'm going to do this for you, which is an offer that I was willing to accept, but I've just never seen it.
That's fair.
I will never just offer to cook something for you because even though I do believe I can cook pretty well, I'm not going to do that. Because you have shown that you're a connoisseur of food and you would destroy me if it was bad. I cook my steak wrong.
How do you cook your
I,
steak?
I don't put salad on my Thanksgiving
your steak?
table. I don't anymore because you have shamed all of us who cook steak
When
on
you
this
cooked your steak,
program.
how did you cook your steak?
However I wanted to.
That's not an answer. How did you want to cook your steak?
On a gas grill. And I didn't do any of the stuff that you did, but it tastes so good I didn't have to put sauce on it.
Good. You should.
You know one thing they do have in Ohio? They have cows.
Fresh cows. Never frozen.
Yes, very fresh cows. You know, watch it when you're walking by them. They're so fresh. Ain't nobody arguing, Josh. We're just,
This is just how we talk.
yeah, this is just how we talk.
It's Josh. It's our love language.
Yeah, it's exactly how we talk.
All right, Texture says, Rob, let's talk U.S. soccer. U.S. advances, and the thorn in our side, Mexico, gets booted, even though they win, but lose on the goal differential. USA, USA, USA. I'm going to tell you straight up right now. I love Mexico. I've been to Mexico many times. It is a beautiful country. It is full of incredible people and art and music and culture. I adore Mexico. I cannot wait to get back to Mexico. Whoa, 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 whoa. Mexico. I think I'd like to go now. It's James Taylor, Alonzo.
Which would be, okay. All right.
Yeah, it's James Taylor. Love Mexico. Cannot wait to get back to Mexico. Cannot stand their soccer team. I love when they put the L in El Tree. Happy to see them bounce. Shocked by Germany getting bounced. Japan, the little giants, the Davids, taking down the Goliaths of Germany. Deutschland sent home in the group round. Absolutely shocking. 4-time World Cup winners will not increase that number to 5 this year as Japan bounces them with a 2-1 result yesterday. Let's talk U.S. football, though. Taking on the Dutch tomorrow, the Netherlands, in their funny little wooden shoes and their windmills. The World Cup is like the only time I will do generic, naive, ignorant country smack talk, right?
Wow, that last part was pretty brutal.
Said what I said. This one's interesting, and let's be completely honest about it. We got to find somebody to score goals in this one. We have got to find somebody to score goals. It's just not an option. There are 2 spots on the pitch that this game is going to come down to for the Americans. It is going to come down to our front line against their back line and our back line against their front line. Okay? It is going to start with Christian Pulisic and company against Virgil van Dijk as the Chelsea man. Plenty of luck, against the former Liverpool man over his career. Pulisic has had a lot of opportunity against Van Dijk when he played goalkeeper at the Premier League. We don't know if Pulisic is going to go. Looks like he is. Sounds like he is. Greg Berhalter is making it sound as if Pulisic will be a go, which would be great. If he does go, we don't know if he's 100%, right? I don't know what a pelvic contusion does to your body. Sounds terrible.
Yeah, it sounds like it would hurt pretty bad, for sure.
Yeah. Of the injuries at the World Cup, pelvic contusion is the one I want the least. Okay. That being said, the 3 back men for the Netherlands, as they typically go with the 3-back formation, Timberaki and Matthews are very, very good. Like, very, very good. So the question here is, what's the Americans' approach inside the final attacking third? Traditionally, over the last 2 matches, the U.S. has been like adverse to anything that was speculative. The U.S. has not been willing to try to create and take shots from any distance. The primary efforts from the Americans have been to take a crack from point blank range. We want to work the ball into the box. We want to connect with a foot in front of the goalkeeper, a head in front of the goalkeeper, and drive it by him from point blank range. I don't think we're going to get a lot of that tomorrow. The Dutch back line is as good as any back line in this entire tournament, any team, anywhere in the bracket. We are going to have to be creative. We are going to have to try some stuff from a distance. That is why in this game, I think Gio Reyna is going to be a massive part of it. And I think, scratch that, I know that if Gregiga does not go with Gio in this game, I am going to have a massive problem with it. I slowed up on my Berhalter hate going into this game, going into this tournament. Not because I think Gregiga is now a solid manager. What is wrong with me? I'm reading text while I'm trying to host the show.
He could be that too. We don't know.
He might be. I'm trying to read text while I host the show. Focus, Rob. While Gregiga, I don't think Greg is suddenly a great game manager. I think Greg's tactics were good enough, and I think a little hero ball pulled him through, right? I think the hero ball from Christian and Tim Weah in game number 1 against Wales that gave us that point to open saved Gregiga. I think the back line against England, who were under assault for the final 10 of the game and played hero ball to keep the clean sheet, I think that saved Greg. And I think Captain America sacrificing his potential children moving forward to score the go-ahead and eventual game winner against Iran saved Greg. And I'm not going to sit here as the Americans run through the tournament and nothing can be done about it. I'm not going to sit here and throw garbage at Greg while the tournament's happening, right? It's not like U.S. Soccer is going to call in a new manager before we play the Netherlands tomorrow. I am going to say very simply that if Greg keeps Gio Reyna on the bench tomorrow, a guy that is the most creative with the soccer ball from 20 meters out or further, if he keeps Reyna on the bench tomorrow, whether he puts him in the starting 11 or decides to bring him on in the 65th, 70th minute as a super sub, if Reyna does not have significant minutes tomorrow, my call for Greg Berhalter to be dismissed will immediately take back off literally Monday morning. I will prepare you all now. Hey, if we lose, we lose. The Netherlands are a good team. As I pointed out, the back line of the Netherlands might be the best assemblage of top-tier talent in this entire tournament. But if we play the Netherlands and we do not have a solid effort that includes our best offensive lineup, which for this game, based on that talent, would have to include Gio Reyna. I'm not saying he's got to be in the starting 11, but if dude is not at least making a run as a super sub against the number 8 ranked team in the world, Greg Berhalter will be taking heat on Monday.
As someone, and there are probably others like me who don't know this because the USA usually isn't in the thing at this point. How many games do you have to win to advance to the championship game and win?
3 to get in, 4 to win the title.
So you've got to win 3 in this round.
So we are out of group play and into the knockout phase, which now is a pure tournament, 8 teams on both sides of a bracket. 1 game lose, you're out. We are now in the March Madness of the FIFA World Cup. So we play the Netherlands tomorrow. That's the round of 16. We lose tomorrow, they're on a plane back to the States. We win tomorrow, we move on to the round of 8, and we will take on the winner of Australia and Argentina. Keep in mind that Argentina got upset in round number 1. Argentina got beat in an absolute shocker by Saudi Arabia back in the opening round of group play. Now, opening round of group play, there's a lot of nerves. You're still working on chemistry, especially in this World Cup. Keep in mind, the World Cup is always, except for this year, played in the summertime. And it is played in a domestic window. That is a point in time where players are not with their clubs, players are not with their teams. They are basically given about 4, 5, 6 weeks where the international teams are together training, practicing, getting ready to get in shape for the World Cup. This year, these guys had about a week and a half, 2 weeks together before this tournament played. By the time we get together with the Netherlands, they have not only been together 4 or 5 weeks now, but they've also put 3 games under their belt at the highest level of international football. If we get by the Netherlands tomorrow, by the time we take on likely Lionel Messi and Argentina next week, they will have had 4 games under their belt, and the L to Saudi Arabia in the opener will be a distant memory for them. I'm not worried about Argentina or Australia. I am worried about the Netherlands tomorrow. Greg Berhalter needs to trust the guys to be creative up front. It doesn't need to be robotic. I understand the formula Greg has utilized, and there have been times the formula has worked. But get it out to the wing, send it in, and hit from point blank range will not work tomorrow. Their backline's too good. It is the strength of this Dutch team. We cannot send it up the sideline, send it into the box, and hope that we put heads on it. Sure, we are going to have to take some cracks from out at the end of the goalie box. We're going to have to take some cracks from 5-10 yards out. We are going to have to allow one-on-one matchups and trust the creativity of individual players. We want to work as a unit, work as a team. I get it. That's been the Berhalter system. That is fine when you are remarkably talented across the front 4, 5, 6. When you have got incredible talent up there, then you want to take advantage of what everybody brings to the table. We have too much individual talent in Pulisic, in Weah, and in Gio Reyna to sit back and just send in cross after cross and not let guys try to create inside the box to make something special happen. And unless we get that fixed, it might be a very sad day tomorrow.
So there has to be a winner, right? In this?
Yes. You get the 90 minutes of regular time. If we are at a level draw after 90, we will do 2 more 15-minute periods. It is not golden goal, right? Used to be you would just play until somebody scored and that was the game. 2 more 15-minute periods. If we are still level after those 2 15-minute periods, then you go to a penalty kick shootout. And whoever wins the PK shootout will move on. After the games today, the 2 going on right now and the 2 coming up this afternoon, everything else after that must be a winner. Which, let's go. Want this game tomorrow. Need this game tomorrow. Let's see what Gregiga and the Americans draw up. Give me some creativity. Give me some individuality. Let us use the incredible athletes we have across the front. Let them go be individual players who work within a unit, not crush the individualism to allow them or to force them into playing as a unit. We'll see what happens. The Dutch are lined up as a strength against what has been our weakness, which is finishing goals, right? Possession's been good. Let's hope we keep the possession. Let's hope we keep that 70-75% possession rate that we had against Iran, that we had against Wales, the 55-60% that we had against England. But let's make something of it, right? Hey, if you can hold the ball 75% of the time and win 1-0, that's a win. You move on. Let's go put 2 or 3 into the back of the net. Let's go finish up a couple of these. Let's win the damn game. All right? Let's win the damn game. I believe that we will win. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we will wrap up this week. Take a look at the NCAA Conference Championship schedule. We will take a look at the NFL schedule. And then we will send you all into a spectacular weekend on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Ooh. Right back, stream. Hang on 1 second for me. to the end of the radio broadcast. Rob Brown and Lonzo with you. 844-477-3776. 844-FAN phone is the phone number. Text us on the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307. 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, and we will read them on the air. Texas says, I wonder if the College Football Playoff Committee decided to change playoffs to make more money to make up for NIL. Workers have to work more. No. I don't care if NIL exists or not. The College Football Playoff Committee decided to expand the playoffs to make more money. End of sentence, right? You can ask if it's to offset NIL. You can ask if it's what. You got to keep in mind.
It's not about the love of the game?
No, I'm very sorry to, this is unfortunately the opinion of an NFL guy. The college football playoff for all, I don't want college football to feel like the NFL. Like, it is, dude. It is, right? I know that some of you feel like you have lost the ability to say these guys are playing for the love of the game. You haven't. They still are. All right? They still are. It's just
the love of what they get for playing the game?
Part of it. I do this job because I love it.
By the way, I'm not criticizing that.
No.
Make all the money you can.
Yeah.
I just,
Oh, yeah. I do this job. I put up a post on the Instagram yesterday, right? Because there are points in time when I realize how lucky I am to do this gig. Last night, I went and sat and talked to some listeners and helped bring in some toys for some kids, right? Then I walked into an arena where a local hockey team was playing, and I spent 2.5 hours walking around, promoting the show, promoting the station, promoting the team, hyping a crowd, but I get paid for that, right? I want as much money as I can to do this job, but I still walk in here every day and do this show because I love it. I have gone through some boats and back to be able to do this job because I love it. Through a lot of point in times where a lot of people in my life, people who love me and support me, were like, dude, are you sure you want to keep doing this? Because I love it, right? Because I love it. They're not playing the game out of love anymore. It's just now they have been able to monetize something that they have passion for. I don't see a problem in that. The College Football Playoff Committee makes almost every decision that they make based on money. We went from the BCS to the College Football Playoff not because everybody really, genuinely, truly wanted to see the best 4 teams. We did it because they went, oh, what's that? We can add 2 more high-level, multi-million-dollar football games onto the postseason schedule and have those sponsored and get cashola for that. Yeah, we're going to do that. So you could have ended that sentence a couple of words before you did, Texter. Texter said, who will cry more about a 12-team field, Saban or Fisher? Well, it might be a little while before Fisher's got to worry about it.
Wait, well, but he paid a lot of money for those players, so he should be. They're going to be in there next year. They just needed a year transition, right?
Yeah. I'm sure Texas A&M is thrilled about his $89.7 million buyout. That's going great. Anyway, here's the thing. I don't think you're going to hear either one of them cry about it. Saban only cried about expansion because his team was number 1 or number 2 for like 1,000 years, it feels like, in a row, right? Now that the SEC has, to some degree, caught up with Alabama and Nick Saban, Saban's best way into the postseason, as often as it will be to go undefeated in the SEC, will be to either win the SEC championship with a loss somewhere, or to be one of those top 6 ranked non-conference champions. It is going to be as much of an opportunity for Saban as it will any other team in college football from this point moving forward. So I honestly don't think you see Saban cry a lot, right? We saw him cry when college football moved to a spread offense. And then what did he do? Started running a spread offense, and Alabama stays in the title hunt. He started to cry when NIL money made its way into the game, and he hated that. Then what's happened? You driven through Alabama lately? I did. I drove through Alabama last weekend on the way back to and back here from the great state of Florida. Do you know what I saw on the interstate as you approach Center, Alabama? A hell of a lot of billboards for local and national businesses featuring football players from the University of Alabama. All right? Nick's going to cry, but then he's going to adapt and overcome. I don't know if he'll complain about this because, like I said, if Brian Kelly, and again, took a big hit with the loss to A&M this weekend, but if Brian Kelly has LSU back on the verge of being a national powerhouse again, Saban's going to get into the playoffs as one of the top 6 ranked non-conference champions. You know when that would happen for him? Literally this year. If we were under the 12-team format this year, Alabama would not only be in the playoffs, but they would be hosting a first-round game in Tuscaloosa. That is big money for Nick Saban. It's an extra week of practice for Nick Saban. It's an opportunity for the university to pump up sponsorships one more time, right? Ticket sales, banners on the Jumbotron. It's an opportunity for all those bars that are around Bryant-Denny Stadium to be packed up for game day one more time again. It's a huge opportunity. And he will get in a crack full more as a top 6 ranked non-conference champion, just like he's been getting in as an SEC conference champion a number of times. And a couple of times as a non-SEC conference champion. Now he'll get in and he gets to host a game and he'll get to bring recruits to Bryant-Denny to show them what a game looks like. And do you think for a second there will ever be a quarterfinal college football playoff game that doesn't have a full stadium regardless of where it gets played at? Of course not. It's a massive opportunity for college players, for college coaches, and for the NCAA. Primarily financially, which is why the decision got made. I get that Bill Hancock came out and was like, oh, it's about access, right? It's about access. We want to provide more access. We want more teams to have a shot. We want more Cincinnatis. And that may be to some degree true. But as much as they want more Bearcats in, do you know what comes along when you have those extra games? Cha-ching, ladies and gentlemen. It's real simple. That being said, if you are complaining about it going to 12 teams, I'd like you to give me a better argument because I haven't heard a bad one yet. Or excuse me, I haven't heard a good one yet. I've heard a lot of bad ones. Oh, guys are going to sit out. All right, show me any point where a guy sat out of a playoff semifinal or national championship game because of their NFL career. Can anybody name me one player that's done that is known to have done it? I can't. Not saying it's happened, just I can't think of one. So why do you think one more game is going to force a bunch of guys out? You are projecting your insecurities on them, nothing else.
And now, the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter Trending Topic.
Yeah, I mean, you're taking some of the fun out of it, but you'll forget eventually. It's time for Twitter Trending Topics where I tell Rob what is trending on the internet. We haven't done this in a while because we didn't do it yesterday. The first thing that's trending, I didn't look it up because you'll understand why. The first thing that's trending is nudie.
Nudie.
Yes.
Nudie Magazine Day.
NUDY. So you're going to click on it and find, and then, yeah, I'm not clicking on that. I'm just not doing
Taking
it.
a risk doing this on the work computer.
Yeah, well, Chris
For
ain't here to save us.
Let's see. The game is for me not to look it up.
Yeah, but in this case, I get
But
it.
I have to.
Yeah.
Apparently, Zoe, it is not for the reasons that you think it is, because that would be NUDEY.
Right. That's what's.
NUDY. Apparently, there's
Is that someone's name?
Yeah, it's a rapper named Young Nudie.
Oh, okay.
Young Nudie is apparently a rapper, and
Is he all right?
I guess he has been confirmed to be appearing on a television show this evening.
Okay, good for him, because usually when we see a rapper name lately, it's never a good thing.
Why does Twitter Trending Topics continue to make me feel more and more aged every time we do it? I'm like, what are the kids talking about? I don't know these numbers.
All right, the next thing's trending is Chris Paul.
I saw Chris Paul trending earlier. I frankly do not know why Chris Paul is trending.
Oh,
But I also saw Cliff Paul, his brother, is trending as well.
Oh, okay. Apparently, Kanye, before he got kicked off Twitter again, posted something about Chris Paul and Kim Kardashian.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Yee got tweeted all, or Ye, whatever we're calling him
Yeah,
now.
well, it's a couple letters. I'm not sure.
Kicked off Twitter again because he decided to post a swastika, as people do. So, good job, Ye. You got Elon in your corner. He let you come back to the world's largest social media platform, and you were like, 3 days without saying some Nazi stuff. I better fix that.
And then Elon supposedly personally took him off.
Yeah, he's off now.
Yeah, so
He's off now.
So anyway, he threw Chris Paul under the bus. Supposedly there might have been some extramarital things that went on between Chris Paul and Kim Kardashian, which seems like that happens a lot with her. The next thing that's trending is Drew Brees.
Yes.
And we did look this up because
Yeah.
we had to.
Saw this earlier on Twitter. There was a behind the scenes
It's been confirmed, by the way.
Yeah. There was a behind the scenes video. Drew Brees was in South America, I believe, allegedly shooting a promo for PointsBet, which is an online sports gambling page. And the video purportedly showed him getting struck by lightning. And it went viral. Like, a lot of people were like, holy crap, is Drew Brees okay? And it turns out that it was a marketing video intended to go viral. And was CGI basically.
It's a pretty good one though. You should check it out.
It looks real.
Yeah.
Like, I bought
Yeah.
it. Even going in, like, this is for a gambling site. It's gonna be like designed to go viral. It got me for a second. And I will just say that it is kind of gross. It's kind of gross, right? Like to make people concerned about a man being alive or not is
by
kind of gross.
gross you mean awesome, then you're right.
It looks awesome. It looks better than a lot of the movies we've gotten recently. Still a gross tactic. Texas says if they did the Big 12 team, the 12 team playoff today, that Michigan Ohio State game isn't as big. Sure it is. They had a first round bye on the line, right? All right, that's it for us. We will see you guys back here Monday. Have a great weekend. Don't drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. I'm so thankful to be able to do this job, and I thank you all for letting me do it. We'll see you back here Monday on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Later, brother. Why did you laugh at my sentimental message?
You're such a fatalist. You are. He's like, really?
All right, guys. You guys are awesome. We appreciate you watching. We will see y'all back here on Monday. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.